Very good morning to you all. Welcome to Trade Live with IG on the 15th of September. Mr. Luke Moore.
15th September. God, where does time go? Time flies.
It's especially when you've been on holiday because you haven't really checked the date for a good 9 days. And it's like, oh.
Welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Where have you been?
I had a lovely couple of 2 mini breaks put together, sandwiched by a trip to the theatre.
Ooh.
So I had a spa weekend in Newmarket.
I was about to say, you are glowing. Look at this.
Thank you very much.
I don't know whether it's the new lights or
it could well be that.
But you are absolutely glowing.
And Newmarket, what an incredible place to go for a spa because you get all the, the usual bells and whistles, but also there's the horse stables right next door.
Of course, yeah.
So I actually got up at 7 a.m. on the Saturday and went to watch the horses train on the field. And there must have been about 200 of them.
That's very cool.
How they get that many jockeys, I've got no idea. But
we've not seen minions.
that's exactly what it looked like.
Little people running around.
And when you stand, of course, there's not many people standing watching, so they all say good morning to you when they go past.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's very cool. So Newmarket, back to London for the theatre.
Newmarket, theatre was Benjamin Button.
Very cool.
Very highly recommended. Absolutely fantastic. The cast are just incredible. So what they've done is they've taken out the orchestra, and they all play their own instruments.
Oh, that's pretty
on stage.
Sweet.
So that's pretty special.
That is pretty sweet.
And then off to the Czech Republic for walking.
Well, you definitely have like a little bit of a sun-kissed tone to you. So that's definitely, it must have been good weather, decent, all right?
It was, yeah. Good. It was all right. What about yourself?
Weekend. I actually kind of camped out in Kent this weekend with, so my mum and dad were away. I had to do the dreaded 3 a.m. drive to Gatwick Airport on Friday morning to drop them off. So we were basically dog and house sitting for the weekend, which was great fun. So we went down to Deal, we went down to Canterbury, kind of did a bit of a Kent explore, which, I mean, I've lived there, well, I grew up there for 18 years. So many parts of Kent I haven't seen.
Really?
Had never been to Deal, never been to Canterbury. I'm pretty sure I've never been to Canterbury. So ticked it off. It was great.
Well, I was the same with Cambridge. So did Cambridge for a day on the way back. And it's beautiful.
Yeah, Cambridge is really nice.
It's really the great thing. Thank you to the tube drivers for forcing everybody to get out of London and think about leaving London forever. We got a bit of a mic problem. Jugger, I noticed Jugger was our mic king on Friday as well, helping Scotty. So. Thanks to the train drivers, like, I don't really want to live here anymore. And you go out to places like Cambridge and you explore and you realise the world out there is
you realise there is
incredible.
There is you completely do. I mean, Cambridge blew me away actually, and I've been back there several times since. I prefer Cambridge over Oxford.
Whoa, controversial.
If I'm going to stir something up, that would be my choice. But no, it is. You're right. Yeah, I think it's important to get out of the city.
Yeah.
And we've got a little 1-bed flat in the centre of town here. To go and live in mum and dad's house, 2 or 3 beds with a big garden, and we had dogs and stuff running around. It was just nice. Like it was very relaxed.
Very adult.
Very, very adult. Yeah, it was very adult. We went to the butcher's, we went to the bakery. We had a bit of a barbecue. Got rained on Saturday. It was great fun. That was awesome. So big up Deal, big up Canterbury.
Good. Right, shall we have a look? Now that we're back in town, we're back for Federal Reserve Rate Decision Week. Couldn't miss that one. So what's coming up on today's show as we start off this big week of action?
So I will be here with you I'll be here through till 8:35, but me and Rich are going to walk you through the market open. Then there'll be a little bit of fast markets with myself and Angeline at 8:15. And then it looks like Elliot is coming in from 8:35.
That's right. We're going to go through Options World and what kind of opportunities are available for this week with Wednesday night coming up thick and fast.
Yep, exactly. Then you've got the all sessions opening bell.
We have to go through this. This is something that I've noticed on the app has completely changed.
Yep. Trade of the week at 9:10, and so you've got a nice Axel footnote to today's show. The trade of the week, and then technically speaking, awesome. Good start.
Now, I'm not the only one back from holiday. Yes, producer Phil is back in town. A big round of applause there. He'll be on the chat. So welcome Phil back. He was away for 2 weeks holiday, and before that, he was basically off for 2 weeks when we had our work from home.
I actually can't remember the last time I saw him.
Yeah.
This is the first time I've seen him since. Yeah.
So good stuff. Now, what on earth is this 24-hour trading?
24-hour
on the
markets.
American names?
Yeah. Well, I was looking this morning because there's two stories that I want to talk about once we get into overnight action. But I wanted to see what the potential moves were going to be, and of course, the 24-hour market's already open.
Yeah.
And they've already moved.
But it's taken in Friday's move as a percentage, so I'm not sure I agree with that.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't seen.
I think at 1 a.m. it should change
and
to
it should
the next
be rolling
day.
over. Oh, okay, perfect. Well, that's probably worth looking into then.
Yeah,
that's definitely.
Because I'm like, oh my God, Palantir's up 4% today, as well as being up on Friday, but it's not.
Ah,
it just hasn't
right.
changed.
Fine. Well, I was looking at the nuclear names this morning, and they're all absolutely flying.
Right.
All absolutely flying. I think I saw Ion Q's up about 20% already. So that's probably including Friday's move then. That maybe needs to be tweaked.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, well, let us know if you're seeing that as well, but we definitely need to see that. No, it's great. Look, we instead of just having access to the pre-market, the main session and the post-market now, we're now plugged into, I believe it's Blue Sky, which is the main market maker over in the States. So they're making prices overnight. So now you've got 24-hour access. It's great.
And I assume it starts from 11 p.m. on a Sunday.
Yes. Yeah. Wow. So now you can just get your stories in.
Like this.
Yeah, if you enjoyed sleeping, good luck.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not going to do that anymore.
Oh dear. Right. So as Luke mentioned there, why don't we go into some overnight action because we got a lot to catch up on.
Bigger BS, you're correct. Blue Ocean, quite right.
Sky, ocean.
Well, no, there's the Blue Sky. Is that the Twitter competitor? There is definitely a Blue Sky,
But not this one.
just not this one. No, not the one we're talking about.
Right, well, how I've missed you all. There you are. Bigger BS, thank you for your help there, Jugger, and thank you for all your help last week. Poor Angeline managing everything by herself. You guys were amazing, the lads and ladies in the chat. So, yeah, thank you to you all there. Kate Murphy, good morning to you. What is this sailing trip? I see Kate sailing basically to Australia. So you got to give us more information there. Are you on a boat at the moment?
Strong.
Good morning to Gavin Ackers. Good morning to Wing It. Good morning to Monkey Man, Ida Rock, Maturin. Great to see everybody in the chat again. Let us know how you are. Let us know how your September has been so far.
Mm-hmm. It's not quite been the September scaries that everyone was hoping for, is it?
Yeah.
Like, at all.
This leads me into something I need to talk about because I'm having
What do you need to get off your chest? What do you need to tell us?
Do you watch Deal or No Deal?
I can't say I watch it too much because I'm at work, but sure, yes.
But
I know of it. Of course.
Yeah. Good old Noel Edmonds.
Yeah.
So I feel like if that was the whole year of performance, right? Now, we know the top prize is £250,000.
Yep.
There's one of those boxes. There's one 125,000.
I think so. Then it goes down to 175. Is it something like that?
175, 50, 25.
Yeah.
So, and then of course you can win 1 pence.
Of course. Yeah.
So I feel like my 250,000, right? My best prize for my pension is probably up 20% on the year.
It's pretty good.
Right? That would be pretty huge.
Yeah, it's not bad.
And because if you can get 20% a year in your pension, you pretty much never have to work again, right? Mm. So right at this moment, it's September the 15th. So there's 20 boxes in total. So we're probably about 12 boxes, 13 boxes through the game.
Oh, yeah, okay, fine. See, prorated through, depending on how many boxes. Yeah, okay, following you so far.
We're mid-September. So I feel like Noel is already offering me 125 grand. Because everybody's been given these huge performances in markets.
Yeah.
We've had opportunities like what Graham Dixon, gave us the Pinsana,
small caps. Yeah.
the Defence Holdings.
Defence Holdings has been flying. We've had SWC earlier in the year.
I'm at the highest I've been on Tasty. Mm-hmm. So I just feel like the market's giving you these incredible opportunities. and I feel greedy to continue trying to swing the bat.
But you should be, arguably. Portfolios should be feeling like that because we're at record highs on markets. So on average,
exactly,
average passive investor should.
But you're also at the high when Noel offers you £125,000.
Yeah, but he's offering you 125.
With 8 boxes to go.
He's offering you 125 grand for a reason.
But do you take it or do you continue on the game? That's my whole point.
Do you know,
Is it time to actually say, market, thank you very much. I know all the risks. I can see we're coming into Fed week. We've got all the price interest rate cuts for the next year and a half priced in already.
Yeah.
Is it time to take the money?
Seasonality will inevitably always play a role at this part of the year because I've
well, it's not because September's not done what it was meant to.
September hasn't done what it has, but you typically always see that kind of if September sells off, which typically it does. It's the end of September, early October is really kind of puts in the base for the end of the year rally, and it's consistent over 40, 50 years, whenever these time horizons. You can flip that narrative on its head and you can say, well, with all of this news that we're expecting, inflation, slowing growth, there's been some house price data out this morning. We've seen some Chinese data that's come in overnight that's been not so good. The market is remaining so resilient and so strong. And I think it was Tom Lee, Fundstrat. Mm-hmm. He was like, everything that's happened this year would probably been a kill shot in markets gone by,
it's tough to listen to him when he's so blind fool. I think you want to take somebody who looks at both sides of the coin, and he doesn't. He's just bullish.
But I do appreciate the tone of what he's saying, though, is if you've had all these kill shots in the market, we are still screaming towards all-time highs. That has to be a signal that this is a market that is stronger and more resilient than people think.
Yeah, or naive, and it's the people who are buying it and driving it don't actually know what they're doing. And the CTAs.
Yeah, but you can't ignore them. They exist. Do you sit on the sideline and just say, well, these guys are all wrong, therefore I'm not going to act? Or do you say, this is the...
No, you say, I don't want to be part of this anymore. I'm actually
going to
taking the safe option and moving to safer territory. Because at the moment, this, to me, everything looks overbought. I'm even starting to look at gold and think, gold at 3,640. Do I even want to still own that?
Yeah, that's
or
tough.
Would I rather just sit?
Oh, you can't even do, you could look at silver, which is above 42, I think I saw it at.
Yeah.
Where is it now? It's, 42.18. Tricky. I think you've got to look at sectors. I think you've got to start to look at specific sectors that are going to continue to, you maybe move out of the pure kind of passive, follow the market play, and you look at sectors. Like the two big stories.
Yeah, but if you look at that, you're talking defensives, right?
You probably talk.
So if I move to defensives, I've got BT up 50% and Vodafone up 30%. Is that defensive? I don't know what defensive is anymore.
Well, you'd look at nuclear, potentially. Which brings us
but that's already had a great run as well. So I just think, I'm very tempted to move a lot of assets. And this is the opposite of what we're doing in Art of Investing. Art of Investing, they want to put more into equities. And that I'm not comfortable with that at all. Not at these levels.
My
kind
of investing piece is always monthly passive. So I've got a dollar cost average on a couple of different asset classes, but I've got a bid in Scottish mortgage usually. I've got a piece on nuclear through Yellow Cake, which is just a kind of pure play on the fuel, and just S&P trackers. And I think from an investment perspective, you slightly have to continue to play that game because you're never going to catch the bottom, you're never going to catch the top. But if you're accumulating and you're doing it fairly regularly, Martin Harris and the kind of the smart portfolio team would say that passive flow smooths out returns in the long term. So I like that. Trading wise, different ball game. Don't get me wrong, different ball game. Do you say that gold is overstretched here? Do you start to look at downside potentially? Do you say that this pop on nuclear names as a result of all these deals, when they're already at highs, is probably is looking at fading it? I mean, I don't know, and it's worth having a discussion about it. I just think that I've been conned into being bearish so many times, and I've missed out on upside because there is always a lot of reasons.
I haven't missed out. What I've got for the year, I'm very happy with, and I'd almost take everything out and come back in January and say, okay, 20% this year.
Well,
where do I get that?
Problem is you work on a trading show, so you got to have something to talk about.
But there's plenty to talk
guys,
about.
that's it. Show finished for the rest of the year. Rich isn't going to do anything for the rest of the year.
I'm not talking about my trading. I'm talking about my ISA, my SIP.
So what would you do? Go to cash.
Pension.
Go to cash, and then but that's going to be depreciating because we're cutting.
No, it's not depreciating. Why is it depreciating?
We're going to cut, so you can't hold.
But interest rates are higher than inflation.
Sorry, yeah, but you're going to effectively lose out because they're going to cut rates. So you're getting money back, but not as much.
No, but it's still beating inflation.
Only by a bit.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is you're not losing out.
Probably, no, sorry. But the point was, sorry, that you're not losing out. But
like cash isn't such a bad thing as it has been.
It's not as good as it has been either.
Relative to the risk in markets, I would say it looks a little bit better. I'll show you my point. Like, look at Oracle, right? If you're chasing FOMO and you get involved in this thing, you're now down 10%.
Yeah, but
because you had to get involved. Oh my God, Oracle's up 35%. It's the new Nvidia. We've got to buy it. You're down 10%. You've lost 10%.
I've never been good at buying these types of breakout things though, because I just think in that rush, it's very difficult to value what is fair and what is just hype. And so I've always tried to step back and avoid these kind of like punchy moves after hours on results. I've never been good at trading them. And yeah, you're right, you've swallowed 10%. But if you've been holding them and you've been dollar cost averaging for a little while, not that I don't think Oracle's been a particularly sexy play for a long while. It's become interesting because of the news last week. Yeah, look, I'm not sure.
But that's my point.
There's two stories to talk about, really, if you start to think about overnight action. We've got Trump coming to town this week, and we've seen two deals announced. So we've got a quantum computing deal that was announced on Saturday.
Yeah.
And then we've had a nuclear deal announced this morning. So they're going to be the two themes. If you talk about sectors and you talk about themes, this week, today, undoubtedly, you're going to see moves in the nuclear names. Constellation Brands, bigger beers have seen, you mentioned that. Rolls-Royce is plastered all over this press release. The golden age of nuclear. There's a fantastic piece. I don't know if you saw, again, I've told you I'm a fan of the All In podcast.
Yeah.
They had their big conference last week. And it's Simon, I've got his name here, Simon, Chris Wright, not Simon, a slightest. Chris Wright, the US Secretary of Energy, did a fantastic 45-minute piece on YouTube. So if you type in All In podcast, Chris Wright, talking about how the US is massively leaning into nuclear. And so today, he's been quoted in the gov.uk press release, talking about how this is going to unleash nuclear demand. We know that there's nuclear demand. This is going to now set up a commercial framework to unleash access in both the US and the UK. Global energy security, strengthening the US energy dominance and securing nuclear supply chains across the Atlantic is his words. So these types of things are going to be ticking away in the background. So yes, you may not want to own the market or own certain names, but pivot into sectors that are performing.
There's Yellow Cake, guys, if you want to take a look at that. So
yeah, hasn't been my best play. I think I'm only just teetering across break even on it. I started buying at the start of this year. Yellow Cake specifically just own nuclear fuel. So it was really a play on the demand being higher than the supply. But the problem is with this, a lot of the supply is over in Kazakhstan, and as you can see, that dip below was everyone saying they're going to supply more. Therefore, the price of fuel came down. Now it's popping back up again. I expect, or would hope, in my investment case, is that with all of these, reactors coming online, there's there's demand. However, I'm early because these things typically take 4 years to build. So actually, the price of the fuel isn't going to be bought.
Uranium,
probably a better way to do it is either the miners or there's a fantastic ETF. NLR is the ticker, the VanEck one. But that's got a lot of decent players in. But look, who's been called out today? Tritax Big Box, interestingly, has been called out to develop part of data centers based out in Nottinghamshire. Centrica's been built in with a company called X Energy. Plans to build 12 advanced nuclear reactors in Hartlepool. DP World, which is based in the US, has been called out. TerraPower, KBR, a lot of these are private companies. But I think in the UK, we've got to look at Rolls-Royce, you've got to look at Centrica, and you've got to look at Tritax. EDF as well in France have been called out in this.
Now, how's Rollers doing? I haven't looked at that. 11:30. Wow, it's non-stop.
Just continuing.
I mean, there's.
Would you say it's powering on? Would you say it's powering on?
Right, it's powered up and away.
Yeah, not sure about that one. But look, that's a breakout above all-time highs. That is a breakout above all-time highs. I'll see if we've got any early calls on it.
So that's kind of my point, right? You got that in your ISA.
You're doing really, really well.
Do you continue holding it, or do you take a little bit off the table?
For me, you are trained to hold strength, and you hold that, in my opinion. I couldn't, if I've got some and I haven't, it's difficult to sell that. Why would you sell it? It's breaking out above all-time highs. Go back to what Chris Beecham says.
I just don't think greed is good. I think it's time to be less greedy than you would be in that April low. When everything plummeted in April and it was 4,800, that's the time for me to be greedy. At this moment in time, I think greed is not going to be rewarded. I think it's going to be punished.
We don't have any, I haven't got any early calls. But to me, that's breaking out of 11 quid. There's no technical reason there to sell that apart from a valuation perspective.
No, I'm not a technical guy, am I? You get him at 9:30.
Yeah, well, that'd be worth looking. I mean, ask the question. But to me, that's breaking out with the wind very much in its sails. Rolls-Royce indicating to be up 6% on the news. So shove it.
No, well, that's what I'm talking about when it's 12 quid.
Yeah. Yellow cake indicating
Shove it.
down. Yellow cake indicating down
Shove
1.5%. 1.5%. So there you go. Don't pick the fuel. Pick the people that are going to build stuff.
Yeah.
The other story to talk about was the tech side of things. Starmer and Trump there's a piece on the Telegraph.
Well, yeah, we got to speak about Starmer because it's not looking good, is it?
No, it's not.
Not looking good for our little friend in Downing Street there. So I think one poll we can do this morning is who is going to be the next Prime Minister? This is something that I looked at on Betfair yesterday. And it looks like his time could potentially be up.
Who you backing?
Well, this is the. Let me just see if I can get the market up. But you've got. Well, is it going to be a woman? Are we going to get a woman prime minister in the next couple of months?
I think Burnham's the favourite, isn't he?
No, Burnham's about 9-1.
Is he really?
Yeah.
God, that's good money. Because he's not an MP.
Yeah,
it's because he's not an MP, and I think his mayoral
Sunday Times were pushing that, but
I think his mayoral term doesn't finish till 2028, which I think complicates things. But he would certainly be an alternative.
Right, here we go. The poll of the day: who is going to be the next Prime Minister after Keir Starmer? Is it going to be Wes Streeting? Is it going to be Andy Burnham?
Mm-hmm.
Is it going to be Yvette Cooper?
Who's Yvette Cooper?
She would be the female in running. Or would it be Nigel Farage?
Yvette Cooper is currently the Foreign Secretary.
I think we can only get 4 things on a poll, can't we? Yeah. So there you go. There's your 4. We're not getting Kemi in there. Kemi's...
Although Kemi wants to drill in the North Sea. That'd be popular up north.
Yes, it'd be popular in one city.
One city that my in-laws live in.
Right, okay, talking about things that are popular. Good old chart of the day is coming up now. What music? I love the music on Friday.
Yeah.
I really did enjoy that. And what about Peter Hambro?
Yeah, awesome.
What an interview.
Yeah, fantastic.
That is, what a name to get on here.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Kudos to the team to get him on. It's awesome.
Good. So it is time for chart of the day. Let's go. What is it? It's a US stock we're waiting for. So yeah, take a look. Give us a vote on Starmer. No, you don't have to say if Starmer goes. No, there's going to be a new Prime Minister at some point. So this is the question: who will be the next Prime Minister?
Okay.
So Starmer 100% will go at some point. So this doesn't mean in the next 2 weeks.
Right, here we are. So we're now going from long term to longer term versus short
Well,
term.
no, you get 2 votes in one. You can either vote that he's going now, or that he'll last, because obviously Farage isn't going to get in the next 2 weeks.
No, it's not.
Right. Okay, let's go chart of the day, US.
the chart and come back for more. Bill points it out, crowd leans in, one bold call, who's gonna win? Cordelia hates it, yeah. Call it right, take a shot, footsie shaking. Call it right, take a shot, footsie shaking.
Welcome back and well done, Hamish, coming through with a special delivery first thing on a Monday morning.
Very good.
FedEx indeed. We were sitting here trying to figure
Tricky
out,
one. That's been crap, hasn't it?
yeah, why it hasn't bounced.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I suppose why would you, well, actually, you'd expect shipping, parcels, logistics, tariffs,
No,
Yeah.
because of the tariffs, the drop in.
drop in deliveries and
Yeah.
drop in everything. Yeah, but I would have expected more of a bounce given the fact that everyone front run tariffs being delivered. But anyway, good for you, Hamish. Welcome back to the start of a new week.
Right. One thing where you get your packages, we got the story on Argos. So we got the story on Saturday morning, I think it was, that Argos was going to get bid for. And we get the story this morning that it's not. So Sainsbury's have then talked with Chinese suitor JD.com to sell Argos. So that's not happening anymore. And that was after Currys, of course, had a potential bid last year. So they're definitely gunning for somebody in that space, aren't they?
Yeah, I think JD.com bought Chiconomy. It's a German company doing
Do you want
something
to
similar.
grab the bell there?
Yeah, here we go. The new bell. Here we are. Very Yellowstone-esque, and we are live.
We find out which kind viewer sent us the bell yet.
Okay.
Oh dear.
We still don't know who sent us the bell.
we had a sneaky look at the packaging, and it was from Nottingham. So we're narrowing it down out there. It was very kind. Right, so we're off and running already this morning. We've got NatWest up 1, St James's Place up 2. Oh, I have missed this. Sainsbury's up 2.7 despite Argos
stepping away, or not being
JD,
able
yeah.
But I think it was the method in which they've turned it down. They basically said that the commercials were not good
Sorry,
enough.
did you say Rolls-Royce up 6%?
Yeah, it was 10 minutes ago, and now it's up 1 point. What did it come out at? 1.2. Shove it.
Oh, you mean in the auction?
In the
It was
auction,
like,
yeah.
ah,
Yeah, the
geez.
opening
You got
auction early
everybody
doors.
fluffed up there. Right, NatWest up 1. So general, yeah, but 1% moves. Diageo up 80 basis points. Diageo's come back. That was above £20 for a while. So saw a bit of a pullback there, and then Barclays. So yeah, the bank's really leading
the charge. Yeah, I mean, not a huge amount going on then. Sainsbury's with a bit of M&A story. Interestingly, for Expo, I imagine the miners would be moving a little bit given that China story, given the Chinese industrial production figures and figures were
Yeah,
not
we're going to have
good.
to get more stimulus there.
Yeah, that's it. The China was higher overnight on the expectation of stimulus. So let's keep an eye on that. I imagine if we look at Europe, I imagine the luxury sector will be doing quite well as well. So we'll have a look at that one in just a second. BT, they're down 1.8%. Carnival down 1.3%. AstraZeneca down 1.25%. Anything else in there interesting?
Just some small moves after that. So yeah, let's look at Europe and seeing with French government downgraded by Fitch this morning. So Fitch not loving the French. That could be it's a little bit of a surprise there that they've moved so quickly on that. So French, the Citigroup came out at the end of last week and said they expect French bond yields to equal or be at parity with Italian bond yields.
Oh, that's not good.
Next by the end of this year.
That's not good. That's a vote of confidence, isn't it?
Yes.
That's like saying, oh, you're signing a player, but you're going to Man United at the moment. Little football joke for you. Great. Oh.
You're really proud of your fantasy football team, aren't you?
I am indeed, yeah. For those that noticed, I have leapfrog Mr. Richard McDonald. I thought that's what you were texting me about yesterday afternoon when you said, right, I need you to come on the show. Oh, and producer Phil has as well. There you go. Some of us are paying attention.
Producer Phil's leapfrogged over me. Steward's inquiry.
He's just going to go double check.
I think he has.
Interestingly, EDF is not out of auction just yet, and I've not got an indication. So in France.
So there you go. You were right with the luxury names there. Kering up 1.7. Adidas getting a little bit of a surge. And then Deutsche Bank. And do we have the French banks? No.
No, there's
Let's
nothing.
see if there's on the downside. Yeah, not too much on the downside there either. So relatively quiet start to the morning.
Yeah, I'm just going to see if we missed anything there in the FTSE 100. Rolls-Royce now up 1.8, holding on to that breakout 1150. Endeavour Mining up 1.1%, trading, what have we got here? Trading 28.36. Glencore doing well, so again, following these kind of mining stories up on that China stimulus.
What about Anglo-American when I was away? I tell you what, I was trying to have a week off my phone completely and not trading, not doing anything. And then boom, the notification hit.
Yeah.
And I'd gone on to book a taxi or something like that. And I went, oh, I've got to trade it.
You've got to look at it.
Got to trade this.
Yeah, the tech story.
So Anglo-American just uncrossed at completely the wrong price.
Run it back for me numbers wise. What were we doing?
It was uncrossing up 3%.
Yeah.
It was like, this is a dream deal. They've got 80% copper. Becomes huge. So yeah, Anglo, really impressive deal with tech. But more importantly...
Finished up the day 5.6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Up 9%.
Well, I've got it here as 5.6 on our charts.
On the day it got bid for? No, it was much more than that. It was
Anglo-American.
9. And yeah, so what it does is it brings the bidders out. So the chances of somebody else coming in to buy Anglos, the first thing I did was scroll right down to the terms of a break, and there's a break clause in there, but they have agreed that they can both speak to other suitors should they come forward. So the chances of somebody now coming out in the next 6 months and bidding for Anglos goes higher.
With tech now part of it.
No. So they're not. It takes about a year and a half for this to actually happen. So in the meantime, while they're dating, somebody else can come and buy either one of them.
Oh, okay.
So it brings them out
On the dance floor, so to say.
onto the dance floor. Yeah,
Onto
exactly.
the dance floor, yeah.
But for shareholders to vote, let's say a BHP or Glencore came in for Anglos or Tech, obviously now they've got a lot firmer base, so they need to pay more. So great deal for Anglos. Why it was only up 3% in the open was insane.
Yeah, interesting. Okay. Banks seem to be doing okay today. The UK banks, Barclays is up 0.7. We got NatWest up there, a whole percent. Lloyd's up 0.9.
Yeah.
Solid day for the banks.
Good. Right, FX and commodities world. Let's see what we're looking at there. If the guys can just take my screen down for a second. Tidy it up. And we're going to oil. Now, oil has not done too much. I see they've lost WTI off the list there. That's strange.
Did you have a futures contract?
No, it's the major commodities. It's the IG one.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I'll just see if we can get that back on.
Get that back on.
Get
Oh
that
boy,
back
come on.
Wake up the guys.
Yeah, copper 467. So at last, it has had a 10% move higher from the drop that it had on that. Oh, not 10%. Sorry, it's about 6% move higher for that horrible drop it had on the news of the tariffs. And then yeah, silver 4,200 now. So Peter Hambro was saying that he works off a 10x. Sorry, yeah.
What, 10x kind of split between gold and...
Or 100x, is that? Yeah.
Well, 'cause it's $42, don't forget. 42 plays, where are we with gold?
4,000, sorry, 3,600.
Well, that's also not on the screen.
Yeah, got that. Screen's got
Spot gold, 3,600, correct, yeah. So what he's saying, so there should be a 100x multiplier between the two.
Yeah.
So now the margin's being compressed because silver's been bid up more than gold has. So he's saying what now?
4,200.
So what, gold's undervalued or spot silver is overvalued, did he say?
Gold's undervalued. I mean, you know, when it comes to talking your book, I don't think you're going to say get Peter Hambro saying that gold's overvalued.
Yeah, very
Or
fair.
under
Very fair.
Yeah.
Hey, no, I mean, relative all-time highs, right? So where's spot gold's all-time high? It's got to be near here. Yeah, absolutely. I made it last week. Made it on Tuesday up at around 36.75, around that level. And now we're at 36. So it's pulled back $50, $40.
Yeah, that's nothing, is it?
It is nothing given the rally that we've had.
Yeah.
Huge rally that we've had.
Right, currencies now. We had Nomura come out this morning and take a tactical short on cable. Do you agree with that? Tactical short on cable. 135.70. You got GBP Euro 115. It's a little bit early, isn't it?
Did they give any reasons why they were looking at it? I mean, cable's been around this level now for a while.
Yeah, well,
135 level.
the fact that you've lost your deputy prime minister, your chancellor is no more. I mean, she's not running the books
And
anymore.
you don't
is
have
she?
a US ambassador anymore.
And you might lose your prime minister, and
We
you've
haven't
got a big
moved.
black hole.
Yeah, but we haven't moved. I think that's the crazy thing, right? So if you bring up the chart for cable, because I don't, and I may be proven wrong, but every time I've looked at this recently, it's around 135. So let's have a look, see what it's been doing. Yeah, look, it's gone nowhere since, I mean, we're now 3 weeks at this level, pretty much. I mean, you'd argue that actually there's a breakout potential if we can get above this 136 level,
Yeah.
but it's been heavily defended at 136.
It has,
It'd be interesting to get Axel's technical take on that, but tactically short. You can see if it fails that breakout again. What's that? 1, 2, 3 failed breakouts. You'd argue that one at the start of September potentially as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it.
Having said that, if in 3 weeks' time it was trading 132, would you be surprised?
No, not really. But I think you'd have to see people. I think you'd have to see more people stepping down. I don't know. I mean, look, we've come up from a low base. What's that? 122? Did we make 123? Look.
Well, that takes us perfectly on to our poll of the day. So let's close that poll and see who we expect the next Prime Minister to be. Well, Farage getting your vote, 46%, then Yvette Cooper, then Andy Burnham, then Wes Streeting. Oh, not loving Wes Streeting. That's interesting. I think he's a fantastic communicator. Maybe not Prime Minister, but he'll definitely be up there at some point. But yeah, Farage 46% to be the next Prime Minister. Is that part of Reform winning, or is that part of a Reform Conservative
alliance
combination?
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. Interesting. It'd be interesting to see. I was having this debate kind of conversation with pals over the weekend. It'll be interesting to see what they can put together in the sense of they clearly, as a Reform Party, want to try and replicate what they're doing over in the States, i.e. putting together a crack team of industry specialists in order to try and form the cabinet.
Yeah.
And I think that has been refreshing. I've been said to me on the show before saying that looking at what's going on politically over here and looking over the pond, feeling slightly envious of agree with Trump, disagree with Trump. There's a direction.
I had this exact argument with a American woman in the line for customs in Prague yesterday.
Oh, wow.
And we were complaining because the Europeans making us go through passport control and not using the electronic thing winds me up so much. Because we let them use our electronic gates. So why can't we use electronic gates going into Europe? Or in this case, leaving Europe. Anyway, she said, oh, and I explained to her it's because of Brexit. And she said, would you guys do it again? And I said, blah, blah, blah. And she said, a little bit like Trump. And I started to go down the route of, oh, God, I've got to admit, from the outside, I don't agree with Trump's policies, but I am a little bit kind of jealous of the strength of America and the direction, and she didn't like it.
No,
so that was the 25 minutes.
I was having this conversation with my wife and one of her friends, and I think you got the reaction that you expect, right? You can't say I think Trump is good because objectively he's very divisive, right?
And you probably don't.
No, I think he's got some policies,
women and environment,
some policies that I completely don't agree with, but I do absolutely appreciate the work that's going into important industries. Energy, AI, technology, infrastructure.
He's getting shit done.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So he's basically, and we said this when he was putting his cabinet together, he's basically getting a kind of Avengers assemble, with Besson in control of the Treasury, with all these different pieces that are going on. There's a direction, and you can see the direction, and people are buying into the direction. That, to me, as a process, I'm very envious of. Because every time you look at Westminster, they're bickering and they're arguing, and you turn on the news and someone's saying, oh, well, we're, calling for someone's head because of something here and something there. And you just go, guys, it doesn't matter. Do something. Like, make this place a better place to be.
This is interesting because our viewers have now voted that Starmer will stay.
Well, no, because we didn't put a timeline on this, right? So
no, but that vote is saying that Starmer will stay.
How?
Well, Farage is not going to be leader of the Labour Party, is he?
But that's not the question you asked, was it? It was who's going to be the next PM?
Exactly. So if Starmer stays, right,
then your vote is null and void until he leaves, right? This point was.
But obviously, if he goes, then it's going to be one of these three that replace him in the Labour Party.
Yeah.
No, not 4, 3.
Oh, in the Labour Party, sure, okay, but Farage is the wild card.
Farage is saying that he'll stay, that Starmer will stay. If you don't think Starmer is going, then he's the only option. But if you think that Starmer's going, you had to choose one of the other three.
Yeah, it's too early. I need another coffee. But yeah, it's interesting.
It's a logic puzzle.
It's definitely a logic puzzle. It was a simpler question than that, and I managed to mess it up. I think it'd be interesting to see how that all shakes out, because I think that reform appear different. And if we've learned anything from recent politics, look at what happened in New York with Mamdani coming in. Look at what happened in Italy with them voting in a populist. I can't remember the president's name.
But do you think Starmer should go? If you're not happy with the way the country is, do you think Starmer should go?
Yes, but then it's about the replacement. And do you think that the replacement would be better? At the moment, I've got very limited evidence to suggest that anybody in the UK could do a different job because of how disorganised we are. That's the point I'm trying to make.
So it's not Starmer you don't like, it's the UK structure. You like Trump, or you like the way Trump operates.
I like the administration and the way
anybody in the UK could operate like Trump.
I don't know how you would put that team together. There is clearly a team out there because, Britain PLC is clearly high quality and has been able to develop returns and for shareholders and the FTSE's been yielding this for years and years and years. We haven't quite had the capital growth in the FTSE 100 up until very recently, but it's considered a gold standard and high quality, as long as you're not trying to IPO here at the moment, because that's not working at all. Is that enough to run on a mandate of change? And the problem with Farage, of course, is he whips up a certain rhetoric on the way in, and that is what I think people don't want to be associated with. It's interesting.
So we talk about save our stock market. Can the FTSE continue higher with this government and with these continued running through a hurdle rather than trying to jump over it?
Well, can you guarantee your own energy security to prevent ourselves having a German-Russian moment? That's a big part of your own economic driving and economic growth. Is it difficult to do that when you don't have security over your own energy, in which case we're letting everybody go and, drill in the North Sea apart from ourselves? So, there's a big part of that needs to get solved. And at the moment, that's not going to happen under this leadership because of everything that Miliband's doing. Fine. It'll be interesting to see how this nuclear piece shakes out, and one that I'm supportive of. But I don't know.
You were talking about defence there and the budget. Andrew McKelvey pointing out that defence holdings up another 13%. Go on, Graham Dixon. What a story here. He first called it when it was
40, 50, wasn't it?
40p. Then he got me into them at 56 when he was on the show last, and it's just been absolutely astronomical. Now, Angeline's going to come in a minute. She can tell you whether she saw them at the conference.
I've seen a picture. Have you seen this picture?
No, I need to see this.
Let's get that on the show, because there's a fantastic picture that she needs to show everybody here. So let's have a look. I mean, clearly, looking at the comments, everyone's got different views on the political piece that we've been just talking about, and I think it's worth having the conversation. Sometimes I do just think it's worth not putting the 6 o'clock or the 10 o'clock news on, because I just don't think it gives you any value.
Oh, I haven't watched it for months.
But a lot of people do. That's the problem. Not the problem. A lot of people use that, and it's just so divisive. We need progress, people, not bickering.
Good stuff. Right, 8:18. We got very quickly. We can cover. I'm getting an upgrade in Tasty.
You're getting an upgrade.
This is fantastic. So we don't have to sit on the platform in UK anymore. We can actually go to the adult one.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, that's one way to spin
awesome. So what do I do? How do I transfer from my Tasty UK to go to a Tasty adult?
You apply for an account, Tasty US, tastytrade.com. Go that way. Go through their onboarding and then submit a transfer request.
Right.
That's the way to do it.
Brilliant. Good stuff. Right, it is 8:19. Angeline will be in 1 minute. We'll see you shortly. I'll be back with Elliot Harris in about 15 minutes.
Watch Trade Live with IG weekdays from 7:30 a.m. on our brand new YouTube channel at Trade Live with IG.
As well as the live show on our new YouTube, you will find our full beginner's course to trading options, daily YouTube shorts of all the action that happens after the show's finished, and Trade of the Week and Psychology of Markets.
And don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons for more exclusive trading content.
do this.
Hello, Pat Cash. So guys, I've always been known to be the fastest, the fittest, mentally the toughest, but the cash returns. That's something else. Watch and learn. Come on, Pat. Cash returns, come on. Hey guys, where are you going? You're not going to get better than cash returns.
Do you like the sound of tax-free trading? Well, that's exactly what spread betting enables you to do. This tax-free way of trading lets you speculate on the price of over 17,000 financial instruments, like shares, indices, forex, and commodities, without actually owning them. With spread betting, you can benefit from both rising and falling prices, letting you find the perfect opportunity. So if you think the market's going up, you buy. If you think it's going down, then you can sell short. Not only is spread betting exempt from capital gains tax, but it's also commission free. All you pay is the spread. With us, you're not alone. You're part of a wide community of traders that you can learn from. We've got the experts, the tools, and extensive educational resources to help you on your journey. If you're not quite ready to trade with real money, you can always give it a go on a demo account. Open an account today, join the conversation, and be inspired to make moves.
Hey, welcome to the show. It's myself and Luke, and I'm so pleased you're here because on Friday, were you on the late shift?
I was, yeah, and you sent me something because you decided that I needed some company on my late shift.
I did. I thought I'm gonna because I am working late too, trader friends. I was with you that morning on Friday, and then after that, after unplugging and everything and saying thank you to Scotty, I then rushed off to the DSEI, and I thought I'm gonna keep Luke company on his late shift.
What does DSEI stand for?
So it's the Defense Security Equipment. I is just some information.
Information.
But really, all you need to know is, it's the biggest defense show in the world. And they've just come up with DSEI as an acronym for something that catches everything, including cyber, obviously, because that's a big market for them. Actually, if you want to read it, I'm sure I've got it wrong because it's a wordy acronym.
DSEI is the Defense and Security Equipment International.
There you go. I got 3 out of 4.
You did actually, yeah. Well done, you went.
Thank you.
And you paid attention. Congratulations.
Thank you. So it's a catch-all phrase for the biggest show for the defense industry. It happens only once every 2 years, but let's show the pictures, people, because I was told, hey, Ange, by my contacts at BOE Systems, come over because you can board the Typhoon.
That's very cool.
So let's go to the next picture, and there we are.
This is the picture I got. This is the picture I got, and I was like, the inside of it, I don't think I was expecting to be like you're driving a Tesla, like with the whole computer screen scenario. I don't know what I had in my mind, but it wasn't Google Maps, which I think is what that looks like.
I was very delighted.
It's big.
It is big. It is more spacious than the Apache. It's one of the more spacious items. They said, Ange, we knew you were coming over, so we took away the eject button, which sits in your crotch, actually.
Well, they put a booster seat in.
Right in between, and then said, she's always hungry, she's got big feet, so make sure that we've got plenty of food for her. But it was very roomy, and I have to say that what people don't realize as well about the Typhoon, we talk about drones all the time, but the Typhoon has the tech to control drone swarms.
Yeah, it's very
It can be your command center as well.
Very cool.
Right. Let's move on to the next picture, because these babies is actually the real reason why I went to have a look and speak to people at the show. So the whole whole party this year is surrounding the unmanned weaponry. So i.e. your drones and everything. They need things, there's the capability to take them out. So Raphael makes them, they're called the light beam, the iron beam. You got kinetic, that's called it a very fancy...
Like lasers, basically.
Dragonfire.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we need some Dragonfire. So it's lasers trying to take out drones. Is that what this is?
And
Okay.
the Dragonfire, I watched the explainer and they took me through it. 10 kilometers away, it can take something out that's the size of a pound coin.
That's wild.
Isn't that wild?
That is wild.
That is wild.
That's wild.
But there are some issues that they're still trying to iron out. So I'm also there because they all go, yeah, Ange asks our engineers the interesting questions, which they might not have thought of yet. They're all very clever, obviously. But I said,
You think you've got ideas that they didn't have already?
well, ask these
love that.
questions. They love that because also if I ask them, I can look like Curious Cat. Whereas if those people higher up ask them, just look stupid. So
I see,
I
okay.
can be their Curious Cat, right? And I can wear the analyst hat and go. But what happens if you use this capability, and you have friendly, not foe, but you have a friend who's got fighter jets, but they've bought similar fighter jets. Then what happens? Because you've programmed. And the enemy now, they're updating the software. Don't forget, we're dealing with tech here. Every 2 months, every 3 months, every 4 months. It's no longer upgrading tanks, which takes years.
But it's more, is it more, are you now seeing the well, I imagine you've seen this for a long time, but you get kind of your upgrades like you do on your phone, but the
Yes.
software updates come through. And so it's more like the hardware doesn't necessarily have to change as often.
Exactly.
But it's more a software piece.
Exactly. So one of the issues that they're trying to solve is, let's say, you're friendly, but you're flying the same jet. If I am your friend and I send out the drones against our enemy, the drones doesn't know that you're friendly, and you're going to have to engage. You are going to have engaged because if you have the same metal profile, if you send off the same signal, if our foe has bought the same aircraft, then you're going to have to engage.
And so how do they, and so what is this the point about recognizing
Yes.
who's who and friend and foe?
Yes. And it's not as easy as just sending the swarm out. That's why you need command control at a certain radius, and that's what they're trying to sell with the Typhoons, with all the fighter jets. You're also command and control, right? You're
And
not.
is that on the pilot to command and control, or is this...
Sometimes it's the pilot that they're selling different versions, but the true honesty is it's such a new paradigm shift.
Yeah.
Everyone's trying to figure it out as they go along.
So who else did we see? Big B is asking if was Thales at the show.
Yes, Thales was at the show. Bigger Beers. If you send me an email, I will send you the picture. It's the biggest, one of the most well attended so far. 50,000
people.
Was the estimate. 4 years ago, when I went, you could see the floor. This year, you could barely, on the first day and second day, restaurants were running out of food.
Wow. I suppose you got Trump to thank for that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because, trying to get Europe in line with increasing their defence spending.
Yeah. Americans were out in force.
Yep.
Yeah, the pavilion was huge. Thales was really big. The Germans, second biggest exhibitor all round.
What, the
Lots of
Rheinmetalls?
German was, yeah.
Rheinmetalls of this world?
Yeah, and also not forgetting, people still forget that you need tanks to win wars. And this is not in any way trading advice or anything. This is just pure going there to find out what the mood is like on the ground, right? Humans have been throwing rocks at each other
For a long while. Yep.
Scrapping for a long time. So Thales, bigger booth than ever. BAE Systems booth was like on steroids. It was a double-story one. Palantir, Bigger Beers, if you want a picture of that as well, their booth was much bigger this year.
I can imagine they were. The share price is much bigger this time than it was last year as well.
Yeah, just taking a look at Palantir as well, and then we'll go on. Luke is going to do the grand unveil for Guess the Chart and the winner there. Sorry, another Guess the Chart? You've got another Guess the
We
Chart?
haven't got another Guess the Chart, have we?
Phil,
We've
you
already done
said
that.
we're going to look at what after? I thought he said there's going to be another Guess the Chart. I was like, this is amazing.
Whilst we're talking about BAE then, worth having a little look. They are, in terms of how they're moving today, BAE...
It had a pop Thursday and Friday, didn't it? On Friday, the people at the BAE stall pavilion were very, very pleased.
Palantir's had a pop as well.
Yeah.
Again, I mentioned this all in podcast. So Alex Karp was on there at the conference as well, and you've probably, if you're following the company, you're probably aware he's a character, and basically similar to how you can just command presence and talk. He did exactly the same thing for about 45 minutes. He just monologued. And he is, certainly an eccentric. He's very bullish his own stock, of course. But they're, of course, much more software and data-based.
They're the eyes. So if you buy Palantir software as a defense company,
It's not just a defense company, though. But they're very much data processing. And the application of what they're trying to do and why they're being bought is because the data that's being processed is in the defense capacity. But he was using examples like you could walk into a bank and in theory tidy up all of their data and merge it into one and make it much more usable. And he was basically calling people out. He said, right, go on then, try and do better than we are. And that was his point.
They have their fingers in every single pie, whether you're consulting, the big four are terrified. Actually.
Yeah.
Whether you are banks, they can quickly summarize and give you action plans, efficiencies. Got 3 minutes left. Let's just have a look at some of the other movers. One of them, I just want to quickly look at this in the renewable space. I'm glad you brought up uranium because my Sprott uranium miners is moving up 17%, I think, from when I bought it. But one that is on the way down is Ørsted. So Ørsted is a wind developer, and its share price is currently, I think it is down by 3% there. Set the price of 9.4 billion. This is a rights issue. Offering shares at 66.7% discount to Friday's closing price.
I think also looking at in the rest of that space, so Rolls-Royce was a big beneficiary of this SMR, small modular reactor piece there. Now they've pulled back. They were up higher, they're now only up 0.75. But Centrica seemed to be the winner so far. Centrica up 1.9%, trading 163.30. They've been mentioned as partners as part of that deal. But there's a fantastic article. If you go on, type in "Golden Age of Nuclear" into Google, and you get to see the whole gov.uk's press release. It's I didn't quite get through all of it before I came in, but it's definitely a good read.
Nuclear. Here we
Golden Age of Nuclear.
Right, and this is on the gov.uk site, yes?
Yes, yeah, it's
Here we are.
It's texty. Here you go. But if you keep scrolling down, you'll see details of the companies that are being part of this deal, the jobs that are going to get created, geographically where the investment is heading towards, and comments from both the UK and the US side. So this is all going to be part of Trump's visit this week, and no doubt sweetening that kind of, as he's here to talk about business, he's here to talk about crossing borders, as in kind of economic borders between the US and the UK, and so hopefully there's more to follow. But there was
Do we know where he's staying when he's here? Do we know yet? I hadn't seen it the weekend.
No, I don't know. I mean, I imagine I did see a piece where we're going to try, with certain kind of political strategists would say, get him in front of the royals as much as possible and keep him away from Westminster. Try and play to his ego and say, hey, look, this is the king. These are all the castles we can take you. This is the palace we can take you to. Look at how amazing we are. P.S. Don't go to Westminster because it's in shambles at the moment.
Keep Starmer away. Right, we have to go soon because we have Elliot waiting in the wings to join us, and Rich on live from the trade desk. Luke, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
For the pleasure of your company.
Thank you so much for having
keeping me company on Friday evening.
And thank you for sending me a picture of you in your Tesla that can fly.
Right, and stay right there. Keep it on because we got Elliot coming up right next.
See you shortly.
Right up. Coming up right up.
If you're looking for flexible ways to trade financial markets, whether you're experienced or new to trading, you've come to the right place. CFDs let you speculate on the price of financial instruments like shares, indices, forex, and commodities without actually owning them. You can benefit from both rising and falling prices across 17,000 markets, letting you find the perfect opportunity. So if you think the market's going up, you buy. If you think it's going to go down, you sell. When trading CFDs, you're trading on leverage. Now, leverage lets you trade bigger positions with less money up front. So this increases your profits on your trades, but also remember your losses are also amplified. So be sure to manage your risk. With us, you're not alone. You're part of a wide community of traders that you can learn from. We've got the experts, the tools, and extensive educational resources to help you on your journey. If you're not quite ready to trade CFDs with real money, you can always give it a go on a demo account. Open an account today, join the conversation, and be inspired to make moves.
Let's do this. Hello, Pat Cash. So guys, I've always been known to be the fastest, the fittest, mentally the toughest, but the cash returns. That's something else. Watch and learn. Come on, Pat. Cash returns, come on. Hey guys, where are you going? You're not going to get better than cash returns.
Welcome to the Art of Investing, a brand new podcast to help you achieve your investing goals. Join me, Rich McDonald, and my co-hosts, Mark Spice Holden and Chris CJ Fellingham, every Friday when we bring you updates from the markets and insights from our combined 100 years of investing experience. Welcome back, everybody. So we've got Elliot Harris here for a nice little chat on markets, as we always have, on and off camera.
Really?
How are we doing?
Not so bad, you?
Yeah, pretty good. We're just chatting outside. Elliot is a fellow horse lover, so I was telling him about the horses up in Newmarket.
Lovely part of the world. Yeah.
You got some experience on the flat racing there?
My dad had horses as a kid. Yep. Girlfriend's dad's once won the Sahara Switch as well at Newmarket, which was a big race. So,
nice.
It's definitely in my blood, you could say.
And big question, are you coming to Oktoberfest?
My trading ability is better than my drinking ability. I've got in trouble at Oktoberfest a couple of times, so
right.
I tried to steer clear of that one. I can't imagine what the real version is like in Germany. Oh man,
that sounds like a maybe.
No.
Right. Are we going to be drinking, celebrating this Wednesday night after the Feds? Because,
well, all eyes are on the Fed. To me, there's no real surprise that's on the table now. It is going to be a nigh on certainty, if you like, 96% chance for 25% basis cut.
Should we have a look at that?
You can get that up.
Percentages. There we go. So that's the target rate probability. So better to look at December, shall we?
Yeah, so when I was on with Scott last week, that was roughly 12% of 50% basis cut, which I said at the time, this would be a huge shock.
Yeah.
So the market is very much expecting 3 25% basis point cuts. September, October, November. As I say, this one is kind of a certainty. There's no little story there. What is going to carry some weight is the actual press conference. So any forward guidance, I think any sort of hint that there might only be two,
Yeah.
it's going to be risk off. It really is. The market's very much, they're happy that for a first time in a long while, there's not some certainty, but there's a clearer picture. The market and the Fed are closely aligned, finally. It's taken us a long time to get there.
Some of the Fed.
Some of it. So it's very much risk on. The market's happy that all these cuts are priced in now. Any divergence away from that, we are going to see a move. So all eyes on your screens, 7:30 Wednesday, huge event.
And 7 p.m. we get the SERP as well, don't we? The projections. So that could actually give quite a
That could give you a
big steer.
forward guidance, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, we also had the BLS report out on Friday as well, about the payrolls. That came as a bit of a surprise. I touched on that last week.
Right.
Market came off fairly sharply on that, but quickly bounced back. And that's kind of been the theme, really. It was quite a weak jobless figure that you saw on Thursday. Market rallied on that, but quickly they kind of lost steam as well. So feels for me it's a waiting game. I think we'll know after Wednesday night.
Did it worry you at all that we had stagflation on Thursday?
Didn't really come as that much of a surprise to me. I don't think the market was too surprised.
Yeah, well, it didn't. It certainly didn't react like it was.
No.
But, you know, going forward, to get rate cuts, we'd obviously rather inflation was coming down, wouldn't we?
Absolutely.
At the same time as unemployment's going higher. But when the Fed has to choose between the two, I'm amazed that the market's taken it so well.
Yeah, the economy, I don't think it's in too bad a state though.
No, the economy is strong, and that's why we're getting inflation come through. But the jobs market's not strong.
Yeah, and
Is that
that data's only really turned the last 3 or 4 non-farm. So for me, I think the next one is key. It might, in hindsight, some feel that perhaps the Fed should have jumped in June.
Yeah.
Which at the time wasn't even really considered. It's only really been now, are we beginning to see some tariff-led delay feeding in? I think we most probably are. I was reading that John Deere, it's cost them $300 million year to date, just purely from the tariff. So some firms are hugely feeling the pinch, and the jobs have to cut.
They're going to have to put prices up, aren't they?
Exactly.
They haven't. It feels like they haven't put prices up immediately because that wouldn't be the political game.
Yep.
But they, instead of just putting prices up on the goods that are affected by tariffs, they'll just put up prices across the board by a little bit, and then it'll just be a normal price rise.
Drip feed it in, exactly.
Drip feed it, yeah. Whether the consumer can actually handle that, because what I was trying to get at there is, can you have a strong economy but a weak jobs market? And with AI, that's probably something we have to get used to, isn't it?
Yeah, it's probably never, the two generally don't go hand in hand.
Yeah.
But with AI, it's perhaps a new world that we're touching on. So it could be possible. Certainly not something we've seen too often in the past.
And I'm not sure how, because algorithms are only built on what's happened in the past, right?
Oh, sure.
So is this a new situation, and how do we get our heads round the fact that you'll have a 5% unemployment rate, but that doesn't mean that the Fed has to cut because the economy is still strong and earnings are still strong, because the S&P 500 isn't the US economy anymore.
No, of course not.
So the stock market can continue going on despite all the trouble underneath, but for how long, I guess?
Yeah, it's a dynamic that we've never had to consider. And as you say, 5% jobless rate, that'd be pretty scary, say 5 to 10 years ago. But it could well be in
The
5
new
years'
norm.
time, that could be the new norm, which is kind of frightening.
4.3% at the moment, Bigger BS, but are we going to 5%. You know, that's certainly the way the jobs market's trending, with the chances are that the next non-farm could actually be negative.
Now that would really set the cat amongst the pigeons.
There are not many off it. We're 35,000 jobs off it.
Yeah, but I think the 4-month average is 30 or 40,000, which is very low. Yeah.
And normally that would be us starting to worry about recession, wouldn't it?
Yep.
Now, if you look at 2006 to 2008, you had rates at, I think, 4.2% in 2006.
Yep.
And they had got up there. And then I think we even went higher. I think we went up to 5%. But there was a 2-year delay until the market started to react and things started to go bad. Do you think that there's a chance that we still haven't seen the fallout of these higher rates for so long? Because they've been 5, 4.75, 4.5 for a long time now. And I didn't, I kind of forgot it. It's such a lag effect, higher rates.
Pretty surprised, to be honest. We were probably maybe slightly complacent in the sense that, even personally, I remortgaged 4 years ago now at an unbelievable rate, and I've got that coming to hit me next October, and kind of the market, you just kind of got used to cheap money almost.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll go back there for 20 years.
No.
I really don't. So I don't think there would be a lag. Yeah, I think this is going to be...
But I guess the lag is, so my sister's just done exactly the same thing. She's just remortgaged. And, you say you're coming up in October. You made a very wise decision to take the 5-year.
Absolutely, yeah.
For people that have taken the 3, they're now feeling that lag effect, as you'll feel next October.
Yep.
So I just see the state of the consumer falling, even though the Mag 7 and AI continues to get better and better. I just worry about that. But let's take a look at the S&P 500, because we were just chatting outside. You think there's a potential move higher again, don't you?
Yeah, so I came on last week with Scott. We were low 65s. Said I fancied us to test 66 by September expiry.
Straight there.
Didn't expect us to get there quite so quickly. So, pat me back for that one. For me, I still think it carries on. I was having a look at the pricing earlier. You pay roughly just a smidge over 10 for a September 66.50 call, which I don't think is the worst value, really. Obviously, that is all on Wednesday. It really is. So any sort of talk about, markets currently pricing in just a smidge under 70 points of cuts by year end, 68.6 for those who like to be precise. Any hint that that's only going to be 2 cuts, it's going to be risk off.
Yeah.
It really is.
And even next year as well, we have to look at the end of next year.
Yeah, next year. So in terms of S&P, beginning to hear people talk about 7,000 as a handle, which I've not heard ever. And I can see it. So I really can see us testing those kind of highs even in Q1. I really can. Right. So I'm very bullish. I really am. In terms of the rates,
How do we play that? Sorry, just there's the rates. So the chances of a 2.5% or a 2.75% are now 27% by the end of next year. We're getting back towards free money, aren't we? With 3% inflation?
Got a long way to go yet for me, but
but if the Fed, so basically the Fed has to have in their projections 2.75%, otherwise the market's going to be disappointed.
It will be disappointed. Yeah.
There's no way they're going to have that.
Yeah. Well,
the current voters.
Yeah, I don't know how much forward guidance they're going to give for next year.
Well, they have to write it down.
Okay.
So we will get that at 7 p.m. on Wednesday, and if it doesn't say 2.75, the market's gone down.
Yeah, but on that, you've got 2.75 and 3 are pretty much the same price. So I I think 3. I think the market will wear 3 fine.
Okay.
If you're coming in 3.25, then you're going to get a move. I think the market will wear 3 fine.
Because what I'm trying to get to is the arb between the current Fed voters
Yep.
and the post-Powell ones.
Yep.
Now, post-Powell, this will be right
Absolutely.
because it's Trump that's in control.
Yep.
But currently, I don't think they'll want to put their neck on the block that much. So maybe 3.25. But if we get 3.25, you know,
It's going to be disappointing.
yeah.
It really will.
So I'll take the other side from you.
Okay, fine.
You go 7,000, I'll go 6,000.
Okay,
Oh, they say that's us almost in the middle.
there you go. All right.
Oh, I feel a lunch bet coming on, Elliot.
There you go. All right. A nice fancy lunch in Sweetings. There you go. You
Right.
heard it here first.
How do we trade this? If we are going to 7,000, if I think we're going to 6, how would you structure it?
Well, for me, implied vol continues to fall. So we're not far off the lows. We picked up slightly. If you just stack up my option chain.
Okay, I love it. My option chain.
There you go.
That's Elliot sits there, and he is the god of this part of the platform, and it is my favorite part. It really is, because you get so much optionality there.
Yeah, there's a lot more that I'd like to do. Sadly, we're not at the front of the tech queues, but we're getting better. Yeah, so usual fight for resource, unfortunately. Yeah, so
Yeah.
you go to S&P, just get up these September options going off this Friday, so the 19th.
Okay.
In fact, that's the weekly, but it's fine.
Sorry.
Just get the September monthlies.
Yeah, that's
There you
better,
go.
isn't it? There we go.
Yeah, so I said earlier, 66.50 call, pay 11. Doesn't feel the worst trade for me, but at the money vol, 12%. All right, historically, you might have a 10 handle on that. Very rare for it to go sub 10.
Yeah.
But what we have seen
Sorry.
is there's still a hedging demand out there in terms of the flows that we're seeing at IG, but also in terms of the wider market. So investors are still wanting to cover. So the put skew, certainly the 1 month put skew, is now trading at 93%, which basically means that there's only been 7 almost instances, where the skew's been greater. So I'm happy.
sorry, that's so that puts her in more demand than
Absolutely.
calls.
Big time. Yeah.
Okay, so it's healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a usual market dynamic, but for it to be that strong in terms of a percentile, that shows you exactly where all the market demand is. And it's, yes, it's a function of where we've got to in terms of we keep on hitting weekly fresh highs. So the demand for protection will always be there. But for me, I'm happy to sell puts to fund my call purchases.
Okay.
So I'm happy to sell that skew. You're the other side of the coin.
Yeah.
You're
I'm the buyer.
selling the calls where, for me, I don't really think you're getting great value.
Yeah.
Just because the skew is now very cheap. And I think you're still paying up for puts. But if they do hint that, there is only 2 cuts coming, it'll be a nice trade of yours.
And then what about further out? Because we, when are we getting June?
June will be added from Monday.
Oh,
We always give you the next 3 quarters. So
it's like when you're in the shops and the new season of clothes come in. That's
the Easter eggs come in like start of January. You're like, okay, right.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I'm going to pad out the weeklies as well soon. That's what I'm working on.
All right.
Currently, if you think we offer Monday, Wednesday, Friday, then we do we have an end of month contract. I'm going to add a couple of weekly contracts in there just to fill that gap. So
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Now, what else have you added here? Because we got 24-hour trading.
In terms of the stocks, yep.
Yeah. What
nice.
what else is on the platform? I've noticed a few more single stock options.
Yes, we're now doing daily options on the Mag 7. Only people out there that are brave enough to do that.
Wow.
Interest on that has been very good. So that's been strong.
And when do you start? So
They start trading at 9 a.m. and settle basis to cash close.
Okay.
Only do it Monday to Thursday. Don't do it on the Friday because we already offer the weekly contract. Yeah.
Got
So-
you. Right. So in 6 minutes, we could trade an Apple daily.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yep. Most of the interest still remains on Tesla and Nvidia, which is
Right.
kind of to be expected. Yeah, the interest in the smaller names is beginning to tick up, but yeah, Tesla and Nvidia are probably 2/3 of the interest on that.
Okay. God, that's fantastic. Right now, we've got other rate decisions this week as well. It's not just
Yeah,
the
you've got
Fed, isn't it?
BOE on Thursday,
Okay.
Bodge on Friday. I don't think we're going to see any action from either, to be honest. In the UK, inflation definitely remains stubborn. So SEP cut is definitely off the table.
Okay.
Be surprised if we saw it in November as well. Quite a late budget this year.
Yeah.
So I think the hands are tired. Don't think we're going to see too much action there.
Is it the 25th?
Not sure.
It's
I know it's that
the
far
end
away.
of
I think
November.
Yeah.
So does that? Yeah. So that'll come after November expiry.
The third Friday would probably. I don't know my November dates.
Check that.
Almost certainly it will be after.
I only because I traded a FTSE option on Thursday, and then I thought,
Oh no.
oh no, it's the budget.
Yeah,
oh
yeah,
no.
yeah. I'm pretty sure you're
okay.
you're-
Good stuff.
Yeah, and BOJ as well. Yeah, I can't see any action there. So not really an event there. Yeah, what else have we covered? Yeah, so just going back to kind of the wider market narrative. Lots of interest in AI's kind of in vogue again, if you like.
Yeah.
Talks of a lot more investment there. US exceptionalism is back on the table. That's kind of the wider market narrative over the last week or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it is just all eyes on Wednesday. It really is.
Yeah, because I guess we're past earnings season. Obviously, we had Oracle last week. Do we do options on Oracle?
Not dailies, no. I think we might do weeklies, but yeah. Oh.
On the Tasty platform, obviously.
On Taste Platform, you can.
And now we're moving from Tasty UK to Tasty US. What's the story there? I kind of missed that.
I got asked this by a client via email this morning. It's just a commercial decision. I'm not involved in that in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
So it's completely out of my hands. Yeah, I think it's just a re-analysis of their international expansion, if you like, and yeah, so it's just purely commercial. Those who trade currently on the UK IG version of the Taste platform absolutely can still trade on the US version. I got asked about money transfers. Will we be offering special rates for UK clients? So have to save them paying any FX conversion fees. No plans as far as I'm aware, but I'm going to speak to the Tasty team this week. So I will update the client who emailed in about that and pass it on to your range on that. All right.
But basically, so me as a Tasty UK customer at the moment, all I do is go on the Tasty platform, fill in the form, they add me, and then all your positions get moved from Tasty UK to Tasty US.
That's what I believe. Yeah, I'm not involved in the whole.
And at last we can actually trade ETFs and I'm guessing Bitcoin as well. I'm not sure.
I don't know about Bitcoin.
If there's still
options.
restrictions.
No, they would need to check up on that.
Yeah.
Well, if you did want any Bitcoin, yeah, you can trade that with IG.
Oh, sorry, but the IBIT options.
Oh, they are, but okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to check up on that about the.
Yeah, there's still rules, isn't there?
Okay.
And yeah, Elliot's just saying, can you transfer my funds to Tasty US? So yeah, your money gets transferred across with your positions to the Tasty US platform, and certainly that's what I assume. You can't, you don't move the positions and don't move the money because you get an instant margin call, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Again, I'm not involved in this process whatsoever.
Yeah.
So best to, if in doubt, I think you're best to get in touch with either. I'm sure there will be a phone number or there will be a link there with further information. There will be someone definitely to contact who can give you further information on that. All right.
But essentially, I know speaking to Sosnoff, the Tasty US platform has always been their best version.
Oh, as a trading platform, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
There's everything as an option trader you could ever want.
Yeah. But when he was across in London using the UK one, he's like, oh, we've got to get that fixed. We've got to get that fixed.
Exactly.
So now we get the one that's, kind of fixed.
You get the big boy version if you
The
like.
big boy version, yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
big person, the adult version.
There you go.
Not in that way.
Yeah, I would love to add further bits and pieces onto the IG platform, and
Yeah, it's looking great.
it will come. I'm going to add the Greeks soon. I've been trying to do that for years.
Yeah.
That'll come. Yeah, as I said, further expiries on S&P, definitely. Pretty do it on the Nasdaq as well. And in time, looking to improve our pricing on European options. So definitely stuff to come here at IG.
And bring my spread in the FTSE, come on.
You say that. The FTSE as an underlying is really quite poor.
Yeah.
We offer a weekly contract. The market used to price it. Now, given you've had all the expansion in S&P and into Europe,
Oh, you're only 4 ticks wide now?
exactly. See?
Oh, okay.
Everyone likes to moan about spread, Richard.
I wouldn't be a client if I wasn't morning.
We actually got asked to be a market maker on exchange on the weekly FTSE options because I think they had one other participant and I think they've walked. So now there isn't any market vol on the weekly FTSE at all.
Right, now we are over time. So we now that the US stocks are 24 hours, I don't know if all sessions is as big a thing now, but we won't take it away from Angeline. So Angeline's going to be back in 30 seconds with your all sessions open. Elliot, thank you very much.
Thank you, Richard.
Do you like the sound of tax-free trading? Well, that's exactly what spread betting enables you to do. This tax-free way of trading lets you speculate on the price of over 17,000 financial instruments, like shares, indices, forex, and commodities, without actually owning them. With spread betting, you can benefit from both rising and falling prices, letting you find the perfect opportunity. So if you think the market's going up, you buy. If you think it's going down, then you can sell short. Not only is spread betting exempt from capital gains tax, but it's also commission free. All you pay is the spread. With us, you're not alone. You're part of a wide community of traders that you can learn from. We've got the experts, the tools, and extensive educational resources to help you on your journey. If you're not quite ready to trade with real money, you can always give it a go on a demo account. Open an account today, join the conversation, and be inspired to make moves.
Hey, trader friends, welcome back. Have to say, I'm getting the chance up because only producer Phil and the gallery and Bigger Beers are keeping time here. Gonna ring the bell just in case you are not aware. We are already in the all sessions, and let's take you through some of the movers there. The winners list first. 1.3% up, Plug Power there, moving higher. And Tesla, 1.8%. Those of you that were on the chat, my phone was buzzing and pinging, and I was going breakout levels. Take a look at this. I'm going to show you the chart because Monkey Man, I don't know whether you saw my email as well. I know you are still in Tesla. It has moved higher there by 1.7%, looking like it's squeezing higher. NIO, another one that is good to watch, 1.9% higher as we speak. NIO, of course, in the headlines recently as well because of new changes at the top. Novo Nordisk, that we're still waiting on that. Actually, it has turned green now, up 1.3% after last week. We saw this stock being pummeled slightly. Taking a look at also further down the list, we've got Lyft there, all sessions up 1%, and SoundHound AI up 0.75% as well. Sophie Technologies, those of you that are into this stock, just have a look at if you're interested. There's a really interesting write-up on Sophie in TipRanks, and there are now some analysts citing that Sophie is a really small chink of light there, and it's looking like it could see the shares rally in the next 14 months. I'll try and post the Tip Ranks article for you later. Let's have a quick look at the losers list. And so I'm going to zoom that in for you. We have got top of the list, Nvidia there, down 2.6%. And we also have Direction Daily Semiconductor Bull ETF. This is also down 2%. Palantir coming off, easing a bit now after some recent gains, down 1%. And we also have the likes of Merck and MicroStrategy lower as well. Let's check it in on some of the hot stocks that have recently moved. Market, just a reminder for all you friends listening in, still pretty much risk on there. We've seen them climb this wall of worry, and which is actually causing Rich to be worried a bit too, because it seems like markets just ignoring fundamentals at the moment. Could it be the CTAs? Could it be the algos at work? Could it be the rising wave of retail investors too that is causing this? Just checking in on Microsoft. How much time have we got, producer Phil? We got enough time to quickly check on some of these. Oh, great. It's down 0.25%. Not a surprise, really, after Microsoft did gain ground when the tech giant said it had avoided a possible heavy EU antitrust fine. This is by offering customers cut prices for its Office products, including Teams. I am not a fan of Teams. Those of you that are with me here, please let me know. I'm not a Teams fan. We've already covered Tesla, which jumped early this session. We've got all sessions here, but of course that also comes off the back when the board chair dismissed concerns that Musk's political activity had essentially hurt sales at the EV maker. Robin Denholm saying the billionaire is still front and center of the company. Just to give you some context though, despite those moves, just looking at the 24-hour chart for you again, we did have that breakout there. But just looking at the weekly chart, because for technicians, it's always important to give context and taking you to the beginning of this year, and that's June 2024, but taking you back to January, we're still some 2% off in 2025. So perhaps a squeeze higher might get us back to levels last seen beginning of this year, but at the moment we're still slightly down. A real big, well, the only talk of the town this week, of course, is that Fed decision that we're counting down to now after signs of a slightly weaker than expected jobs market. Rate futures now reflecting expectations of cuts totaling 75 basis points by the end of this year. We also saw the University of Michigan survey. This is for consumer sentiment. It's a bit B-list, but you know, when it's such exciting times like now, when markets are climbing this wall of worry, sometimes even the B-list data is worth considering. US consumer sentiment falling a second straight month in September. Right, let's take a look. Maturin, Paul, good morning to you. Buenos dias, saying K-Web still climbing. Good call by Garth in July, up 16% since he mentioned it. Taking a look as well at that. Let's have a look. And showing the US one and also the ETF. There are two on the platform, and yes, it is continuing to move. For those of you that are keen on K-Web, I highly recommend that you take a look at Alibaba and also Tencent and Pinduoduo. Many of those outfits there, because what they're doing on the community scale is likely to come here. And I'm very interested. I try and go to Asia at least once a year. I shall be flying to Asia hopefully in 4 weeks' time. I hear Phil now suddenly being interested. I'm not going for 4 weeks. I might be there in 4 weeks' time. So Producer Phil is saying that's what you think as he grabs the shackles. But it's interesting to see what happens over there in the online shopping space, because it tends to be 12 months ahead of here. We've got obviously the Amazons, we've got the likes of Vinted. Scotty's son uses Vinted a lot. Still, the thrust of online shopping is from big outfits like that to consumers, and we've also seen the evolution to consumer with the likes of eBay, but we haven't seen the evolution of community online shopping that has taken China by storm. By that I mean, if Maturin wants to get a pair of Adidas trainers, he gets it for, let's say, 50 quid. But if everyone on Discord wants a pair of the same Adidas, then Maturin can sell 50, but then he gets to sell it at, let's say, 40 quid each, and he gets his pair for free. Get the idea? Yeah? Pretty easy, right? Bigger beers. Maybe we can meet in Asia. It says, hi, I'll be in Asia too during that time. My goodness, you get around. Aren't you in Belgium somewhere? Please tell us whether you're the one in Belgium. Yeah, jet setting again, says Marco Polo. Pelican, Sophie is a premium crusher in options. I came to expect. Pelican, you like momentum stocks, so please let me know if you think Sophie is one to watch, because this is really piquing my interest. Take a look. This is the weekly chart there. You can see a very strong move upwards. This is purely from a technical viewpoint, but take a look at the daily chart as well, and you can see a very strong upward trend there. I talk about rainbows quite a lot in this show, and what you can see there is nice clean rainbow lines with the price action on top. And the final line in the sand, if you wanted to be really granular about this, for those of you that track momentum like Mo, I also like this, don't fight the trend people. Let's get 200 in, and look, the 200 is also obeying, is above. Obviously I'm just doing this so I can illustrate it for you, but we have a very strong upward trend there. Maturin says, get your orders in for the Adidas. Let's have a look. Sophie, as I said, I'll give you a heads up to that article that I saw, but it was talking about how this has been under love recently, and it's looking, due to its technical indicators, like it could have a very strong run ahead. RK, good morning to you. Asking, Ange, any insight on tech analysis on Oracle stock? Let's have a look at that for you. And do we have time, gallery? Because we have had a huge breakout here. Let's have a look at this for you. Now, Oracle from a technical perspective, very, very strong there, as you can see. But also, what I want to show you is, if you look at the weekly chart, we always look left. This, as you can see here, is all-time highs. Let's have a look at the monthly as well. And so you don't want to fight the trend. RK, this is a very strong upward trend there. Going back to the daily as well, if you are thinking, well, maybe I've made big gains and I want to, come off. We talk about taking your profits off, leaving your capital, if that's what you want to do. But because the momentum is so strong, I would say that this is still firmly in an uptrend. Look at the volumes as well. I'm going to circle it in for you, RK, to show you what I'm looking at. The volumes here still look very, very strong indeed. So you almost don't want to pull back at least all of your investments when it's in such a strong upward trend. Oracle, really, if you take a look, I'm going to try and draw a channel for you. It has really broken out here, and let's draw a rectangle. If that is the most recent area of interest, and we like to talk about inverse polarity a lot here, because the highs that we're seeing in July, as long as you don't see a close below this, and it's not a 100% line that we're talking about. We always talk about areas of interest because you don't really per se have, lines that are, if it crosses this exact level, that's it. So it really depends on your risk appetite. We look at areas of interest because you can see when it faltered or when it broke out. And so as long as you don't close below that level, the high seen in July, then I think this uptrend can be certainly still we can possibly head higher. The next level of interest is the 16th of July. Can you see that we have got a floor there, but that was also the 16th of July high. And so if we break below the area of interest that was last seen at the end of July, then we could potentially be making or heading down to that early June level. But really, if it stays above here, there's no reason at the moment, unless there's, really bad news, that it can't stay above this level and continue heading higher, especially given we have a week where we've got potentially a cut coming. Gavin Ackers and I, of course, were saying something's in the water. I mean, unlikely to get any more than 25 basis point cut, but, anything can happen. We're in Trump 2.0. It's also a week when Trump, of course, is about to visit the UK, so you might want to grandstand and make announcements whilst he's here, and that could affect the tech space, so be aware of that as well. Make sure that in the month of September, when we are approaching, are we in the last 2 weeks yet, trader friends? We are almost into the last 2 weeks of September, whereby it is, if there's any week, it's likely to be the last 2 weeks where we could have a shakeout on the markets. And so, as you saw on my short, on YouTube Shorts, on Trade Live with IG, there's still a lot to play for, but just make sure you've got your ears to the ground, and you can always invest and trade on things like central bank action. We've got that this week, and also news flow, right? And macro data. How about Cameco? Julian is asking me about Cameco. Here we are. Phil might also be coming in a second to update us so far on the wonderful new studio. Loads of you have mentioned how amazing the new studio is. So I'm going to have a quick look at Cameco whilst we're waiting for producer Phil and also Axel. So taking a look at Cameco here. This is really interesting because Cameco, of course, had its quarterly results and recently, and they had 71 cents per share for the quarter ending June 30th. Cameco, though, is now, this is the daily, everyone, is now stuck in a sideways formation. Let's have a look at that for you. And so I'm just going to make that rectangle a bit clearer for you. There we are. Paying attention, not to cut through the wick.
It's a nice rectangle.
Thank you. I did take an extra GCSE, an extra on top of the others, and also my A levels. I did pure science, but then took an extra art.
Hello to you too.
Hey, Bill. But as I was saying quickly, Julian, on that, if you don't see it break out, and when I say break out, I mean close above this sideways channel, then we're likely to remain stuck in this sideways trend. Phil.
Hello.
Hello.
Sorry.
Good morning. Good of you to join us.
It is. I just thought I'd come and say hello, as it's been a while, and I can't find Axel.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So this is me buying time, as a producer does.
Whilst you're
It has
here,
been a while, so I thought I'd
missed you. We have
missed you guys too.
Oh,
But it's different, isn't it?
it is very different.
I haven't seen Ange and Rich for a month. It's been the longest period of time I've not seen them for since September last year.
You even
And it's
missed.
been the best month of... I don't know where the hell this bell's come from.
Yeah, this morning he said, "Where did this come from?" I said, "Rich and I were sent this, and it's from 101 Stop Loss Street, Nottingham."
That's funny. That is good. But yeah, it's been a little bit of a while. There's a lot going on. It's all changed. I mean, I was absolutely knackered at the end of the revamp. It was an intense 2 weeks, but it did go well. And there's still a few things to be done. I'm not sure about this tree. I'm not sure where that's popped up from. Looks like it's dying. But it's nice. We're getting a new desk. The desk still isn't here. Hello, everyone. And there's still a bit of a mess behind. But generally, we've got some nice new cameras.
Yeah, the cameras are amazing.
Yeah.
I was sat in twilight whilst you were testing the cameras, and Dave was here, literally in darkness, and they opened the aperture, and I looked like I was in Marbella.
Yeah, that was the plan. But the Friday before I left, I'd done like 3 14-hour days. There we go. There's the new desk coming soon, though. The desk still needs work.
So what else, other than the desk, what else is coming?
I mean, the desk is the biggest thing that is quite noticeable. And I think we'd probably thing is, as you can see, we've got Mango's lovely love heart. You guys do send us stuff. Now, I'm not soliciting that you guys should send us any more, but you can find the address of IGs on Google. But what we kind of want to do is, I would like to start celebrating the fans a little bit. So we have obviously a bit of a physical set now. So the idea of it is that we have maybe a bookshelf, but not a bookshelf of books, but a bookshelf of basically what the fans have basically sent in and all that, and have a bit more physical set. The bell, the old bell.
The cider.
The cider, Richard's Links Africa,
Oh, dear.
your makeup bag that sits here the entire time. I think it'd be nice just to have a little bit more of a kind of celebration.
Many
and deal with the
questions from
physical set.
Discord and also to my private email box.
I have
Will
seen.
they be able to come in and sign using the Sharpie?
So you won't be able to sign the wall with a Sharpie. It's not graffiti wall. And I have seen. So I muted everything. I must admit, I was quite aggressive. I muted Ange. I blocked Rich. The guys in the gallery kept on tagging me, and I had to block them in the chats. So I have seen quite a few bits in Discord, but I did mute Discord as well. I'm sorry. I did need to completely switch off because I was burnt out.
It was his honeymoon.
What's my honeymoon? I got sunstroke twice, which I've not mentioned yet to anyone. Twice. I'm still recovering from it.
Wow.
So the fact that I'm doing this just shows my dedication to the show. So yeah, Discord, I have seen a few suggestions even about where the guest of the chart would be. So I have seen them. So I will respond to them soon, but I've just not really had a moment. I've not even got my computer back up and running. It's been straight back into it's a bit of chaos, really. It's still a bit messy, and I thought it'd be cleaner than this, but we're getting there. Bits and bobs.
If you were outside, friends, you would still think go long copper. We have a huge amount of
What segue was that?
copper still outside. It's. I thought they'd be gone by now, but the cables everywhere.
Oh, I thought you were.
Copper cables.
Yeah, we're going to go long copper clearly from all the copper we've got outside. There's a lot going on, and we will then once this is all clean and it's all set and I'm all happy with it, then we'll do a studio talk and we'll invite everyone. And I will give it about a month because I know some of you guys are abroad and I know some people are willing to travel. So I want to give it as much time as possible to try and do. The idea is we're going to do a bit of a social our side because we've worked hard. I've not had a Guinness with Ange for a long time as well. So we need to have a little catch up.
Need to decompress and.
Yeah, I need to decompress and coming back here. That's the first day back. So yeah, we'll do a studio talk. The timeline is still TBC. I imagine some form of maybe end of October, early November. By the time this is done and we give people enough time to work out the schedule, I'll do a Discord poll. Maybe we'll do a best date for everyone or whatever.
Wonderful. Now, one thing that hasn't changed whilst you've been away is that markets, and that being US stocks, still are marching higher.
And now they're open all the time.
I know, right? So
Honestly, I've not
you
looked
can't
at-
go away. Things change.
I've not looked at. I don't know the price of gold or NAS. I don't know anything. I've literally not looked at a chart for 2
Gold
weeks.
has been glistening like there's no tomorrow. Had Peter Hambro on, probably the
did?
biggest gold trader ever. He's talking 5,000 this time.
I still need to watch that interview.
I put him on the spot right here, and I said, you know, if all things remain equal, where do you think spot gold will be this time next year? And he said, not surprised if it's 5,000. So
It's a
have
bold,
a look at
bold
that
claim.
video.
What was the other? You had someone else on as well.
Yes, Pulsar Helium's CEO. So have a look at that. He braved.
I thought you said no more new people in the studio whilst I was away. What happened to that rule?
There was a strike. There was also a strike.
There was a strike, and then Rich seemed to go on his own strike as well and just go away for a week.
It was fascinating. Whilst you
Well
were
done,
away,
Ange, by the way. Can we give Ange a round of applause? Last week, she didn't have the producer. Rich was like, yeah, I fancy a week off as well. So, and Ange held the fort. So thank you, Ange.
So I hear has been just walked in and being mic'd up.
Is Axel
now,
here? Fantastic.
But I want to
can get out
also
of here
say
now.
it was an amazing, wonderful show of affection and love from our friends on Discord and on Trade Live with IG. Give yourself a like and subscribe because I think you've heard me say it quite a few times.
Can you subscribe to yourself?
Yes, you can. And yeah, thank you, Gavin. There you go. They really saw me through. They held me through.
That's nice of
without
them.
Phil,
And
without
Scotty,
Rich,
apparently, as
and
well.
Scotty, what a stop.
Yeah.
And so last week, I even had to pick my way through to get into the office on Thursday after battling no trains, no Ubers, because all the line bikes had parked.
Gone.
Well, no, they were just left on the street outside our office.
What's funny as well, is
Thousands.
I don't
Thousands.
take the tube. I take the train, and so I generally would have had absolutely no problem coming in, but I wasn't here. It was great.
Very quickly, just WTI for because
Axel's about a bloody. Axel's going to do it.
market. Yeah. Just one little thing. Rick Bensignor has an amazing note, and WTI still calling that oil. He's still bullish, but the thing is, oil, he says, remains a market that delivers no edge to trade while it continues to rotate around prior lows. So that's the big but there. It still delivers no edge to trade whilst it continues to rotate around prior lows. Open interest dominated by producers, refiners, marketeers. Okay, so
I'm still in holiday mode. I'm sorry. Technically speaking, we've got some suggestions. They've already gone to Axel. If you've got any more, get them in. Thanks for having me back. Sorry for the sporadic interruption.
that's great being
But
back.
just thought I'd come and say hello to everyone.
Fantastic. And show off your tan.
No tan, because I had to avoid the sun for literally most of my holiday, whilst my partner wanted to call the hospital. And I'm like, no, we're going out for dinner. But we didn't get
Right.
didn't have a dinner.
So stay right there because we are going to get you Axel coming up after this with his trade of the week.
If you're looking for flexible ways to trade financial markets, whether you're experienced or new to trading, you've come to the right place. CFDs let you speculate on the price of financial instruments like shares, indices, forex, and commodities without actually owning them. You can benefit from both rising and falling prices across 17,000 markets, letting you find the perfect opportunity. So if you think the market's going up, you buy. If you think it's going to go down, you sell. When trading CFDs, you're trading on leverage. Now, leverage lets you trade bigger positions with less money up front. So this increases your profits on your trades, but also remember your losses are also amplified. So be sure to manage your risk. With us, you're not alone. You're part of a wide community of traders that you can learn from. We've got the experts, the tools, and extensive educational resources to help you on your journey. If you're not quite ready to trade CFDs with real money, you can always give it a go on a demo account. Open an account today, join the conversation, and be inspired to make moves.
Let's do this. Hello, Pat Cash. So guys, I've always been known to be the fastest, fittest, mentally the toughest, but the cash returns. That's something else. Watch and learn. Come on, Pat. Cash returns, come on. Hey guys, where are you going? You're not going to get better than cash returns.
Welcome to the Art of Investing, a brand new podcast to help you achieve your investing goals. Join me, Rich McDonald, and my co-hosts, Mark Spice Holden and Chris CJ Fellingham, every Friday when we bring you updates from the markets and insights from our combined 100 years of investing experience.
Hello and welcome to Trade of the Week on Monday the 15th of September. Now today, and some of you might not like this, I do not have a setup for you. And the reason is that I'm not just going to plug one out of the air to please you, because those quite often then that simply go wrong. So sometimes it actually makes sense to stay aside and to wait for better opportunities to occur. Now, there are a lot of people who might completely disagree with me and say, oh no, you have setups on this or that asset. But for me right now, today, I honestly don't find anything which I fancy, and therefore I am going to stand aside. So that's also something you can do. You do not have to trade every single day. You do not need to trade every week. You want to highlight the high probability, low risk investment opportunities, and those are the ones you want to focus on. So with that in mind, let's go back to last week's trade of the week, which was to go short the British pound against the Japanese yen. And as you can see here on my daily chart, we basically came down straight away after the trade of the week and didn't quite hit our downside target, unfortunately. And then we rallied back up again, and basically we would have been stopped out just here. So we had a small loss because we went short here, tight stop, it went in our favor. And personally, what I would have done is probably moved my stop to my entry level as soon as cable came off by the same distance as my risk. What I mean by that is basically we were risking, I can't remember exactly, I think about 75 points. So when the British pound against the Japanese yen came down 75 points, which it did on Tuesday, I would have then moved my stop to break even, therefore having a potentially free trade on. So that's what I would have done. Because I didn't tell you about it though, I count this one as a loss. So this week's trade of the week is to stand aside, simply because there aren't any setups which are, for me at least, a high probability, low risk investment opportunity. To standing aside is also a viable option when trading and investing. Hello and welcome back to Technically Speaking, where I've already got loads and loads of questions from you. So let's go straight into it. As always, I'm not giving you any trading advice or investment advice for that matter. All I'm looking at is charts, and we can all look at that information and come up with different ideas of what to do next. So anyway, the first question I've got is looking at SAP, a nice German tech stock, probably one of the only ones which are big enough in the DAX 40. And you can see here basically that SAP is currently in a downtrend. So the question is that downtrend going to continue or not? And what we've seen here is a decline from the June highs, and we are approaching these lows going back to April of this year. And for me, the trend is your friend. It's still pointing down. Let's go into a longer time frame and see whether, if you're an investor, you should exit this long trade you've probably had on for quite a while now, going back to sort of 2022 or so. But the answer to that would be no, because basically that low here in April is the key low that you need to look at. Because if we were to fall through there, that was really good support. When we tried to retest the highs, we saw the record highs, but then basically we came off again. So that's an important reference point on your chart. If we were to fall through here, it is quite possible that we could slide quite significantly lower. But even if it is just what I call an ABC zigzag Elliott wave correction, you take the distance from that high to that low and project a lower from that high, even then we're talking about at least a downside move towards the 20,000 area or so on this daily financial bet. So SAP still looking bearish. You can see here we're on track for our
even though we've just started the new week today, but we are track for our, we've had 5 consecutive weeks of falling prices here, and who knows what's going to happen this week. So how do you play this? Well, if you are long, as I say, from a long-term perspective, your stop loss, in my opinion, will probably be just below the April low. If you are a short-term trader and you're trying to catch a falling knife, which I don't recommend you do, but if you're that way inclined, well, if you want to go long here, fine, but you know, your support really is between these lows here. So if you wanted to get in, I would probably get in at a lower level and wait for an even further decline, because right now there isn't any support here. So it's quite likely it's going to go slightly lower still. And then if it were to hold there, your stop would also be below the April low. If you're short, well, good for you. I mean, basically, you could move your take profit stop, probably not below, not be above the Tuesday high from last week, but probably the next higher one, which is just here from the 27th of August. So just that one, because it's slightly higher than this one. If these were to be taken out, we also break through a downtrend line. In that case, we have a bullish reversal, at least short term in play. But as long as that's not the case, the trend is your friend, and that's still pointing lower. So I hope I've answered your question. I've got another one on C Limited. I don't know anything about this stock. So let's have a look at this one together. And first of all, if we don't know anything about a share or an asset, what we do is we always look at the longest time frame available to us, because we want to look at the long-term picture. And we can see here that it's looking really nice and is very nicely trending higher. Obviously, it's come off its 2021 high, but basically since January of 2024, we've been in a steady upward move here on the monthly chart, all looking very healthy. We're even accelerating to the upside. On the weekly chart, that's going to look similar. Exactly here, you can see we've had this ABC zigzag correction, then broke above these highs here. That was another buy signal. Interestingly enough, quite often when you break through resistance, that in the future quite often acts as support. You can see that here. Let's just make this very much clearer. You can see these highs, that was resistance. Once we broke through them and closed above these on Monday of last week, we basically had this area then as a support area. And lo and behold, on, that was a weekly chart, so that's why I got confused. But last week, then we came back down again. Where did we hold? Just at that support area here, just above that. So this high here acted as support during that week. So if I go onto the daily chart, you can see here, we've had a nice spike higher. And probably earnings, I don't know, but then, or trade update, we can see that we continue to trade higher. So if you're short, well, have a pretty tight stop, I would say, because the trend here is clearly pointing upwards. It's looking healthy. If you're long, well, keep your longs, because basically, even from a short-term perspective, as long as you stay above the August to September uptrend line here and the last reaction low, which is the early September low, which on this daily financial bet was made at 17,320, as long as we stay above there, it's still looking bullish. And we've now got support. This previous high here acted as support on Tuesday of last week. You can see that here. And since then, we've gone higher. So for me, it's an uptrend. It's looking healthy. Further upside more likely to be seen than any downside. And then we've got Robinhood from last week. And then we looked at Robinhood heading higher, making new highs. And I guess this continued here on this 24-hour IG share. And you can see here Robinhood made a new high. Now, but this is interesting now. Why is it interesting from a technical point of view? Well, first of all, let's just draw our support line on here. It's just a support line because we've only got 2 touching points. If it were an uptrend line, it would be 3 touching points. So what did we see? We last week rallied above the previous high here, and the high also seen in the middle of August, and closed above these on the next day. That was bullish. But we then didn't have any follow through to the upside. And when you have that happening, it's a warning sign, because the strength which is taking you through that resistance is no longer there, because otherwise you would continue to rally. And what has happened instead is we formed this sort of dark cloud cover here, and then the next day we came down from this big doji, a lot of volatility, and the next day, that was on Friday, closed down. So that potentially could indicate it's a reversal against the trend, and it could mean that was a false breakout here and we're going to head back down again. But let's not jump to conclusions. Let's look at the chart and see what that says. Well, what we can see here is, yes, we are seeing some negative divergence. Can you see this high here on the relative strength index? And as you know, I use the 9-period relative strength index. That is lower than the one here on the July high. Yet we made a higher high here compared to the July high. But if we look at the last high, which was this high here, the 11th of August high, compared to that here we made a higher high, but on the oscillator we also made a higher high. So there is no longer really negative divergence in place, because compared to the last high, we made a higher high on the oscillator, confirming the uptrend. Right, so what does that mean? That means that in about 70% of cases, if you follow the trend, well, the trend is more likely to continue than for it to suddenly reverse. So even though we see this short-term reversal here, and it may lead to a change of trend, the odds are that actually the trend is going to continue and that you could use this pullback, if you're not long, to actually enter the long trade. So I wouldn't be concerned if I were holding Robinhood, which I'm not, and basically I would place my stop loss if I'm a longer term investor or medium term investor or trader, not below the September low, but below the next lower one, the August low, 1st of August, because that's very slightly lower than this one, so you might as well just place it below there. So as long as we stay above there, the trend's your friend, we're still looking bullish. Short term, if you only bought last week, well, maybe move your stop to break even, or maybe move your stop, I don't know where the last low is. I mean, this is a very, very tight one. That's low from Thursday, but I wouldn't do that because it's likely to be hit, and then maybe we just drift down and we go back up again. But basically for me, Robinhood, as long as we stay above the uptrend line and these lows, it's still an uptrend. Now I've got another question. Keep those questions coming. Tempus, again, a company I don't know much about. It would be nice if I could actually spell. Another 24-hour share here. Again, we go back to the longest time frame we can look at. Monthly charts here on the daily financial bet, on the monthly financial bet, weekly charts on the weekly chart. Very interesting here. We are within sight of the record high made in February of this year. And you can see here that together with the mid-February high acted as resistance last week. But we are still on track for our third consecutive week of higher prices. We've been in a very clearly defined uptrend here since April of this year. Everything's still looking good. And now the question is, what do we do on this chart? Well, we draw in our trend lines, our support lines, and we can see here the first one is not really valid because we don't want any data to go through here. You can see it's very flat. So what we can do then is draw on an accelerated trend line or a tentative, which means a two touching point, uptrend line or a support line, you can also call it. And here you can actually see we have a trend line. We've got 1, 2, probably 3 here, 4, 5 touching points. So it's definitely a trend line. It's an accelerated trend line. And these do at times get broken through because simply the angle of the trend line is too steep, and the trends, when they become weaker, the angles become then slightly less steep on these trend lines. But you can see here on Thursday we had a huge upsurge. Now we're just consolidating. As long as we stay above that upsurge low and basically the low below that low here, just this last reaction low. So I'm talking about Wednesday, the 10th low, which on this daily financial bet was made at 7,721.5. As long as we remain above there, it's still looking bullish. But yes, you can see negative divergence. Can you see here we made a higher high on the Tempus chart compared to the relative strength index, which made a lower high, which is a warning signal that perhaps we could see a reversal. But this is just a derivative of the price action. So any oscillator is just a derivative of price, and therefore it's less important than the price action itself. And what is the price action actually telling you? What are these candles telling you? Well, basically we saw on Thursday of last week a huge upsurge. That one here encompassed, I think, the 4 last bodies here of this chart. So it was very bullish. Plus we closed above the previous high. That is bullish. And that we then just consolidate in very little volatility, very low volatility. That's not a problem. That's not bearish. So we basically ignore for the time being this negative divergence unless we were to see a big down move take us through that uptrend line and through the low seen on the 10th of September. If you're short, you know where your stop is. You could even make it a stop in reverse order, whereby basically if you go above the high seen last week, well, you're probably wrong. You then revert your position from short to long and you just let it go higher. So what are the upside targets? As I just said, we've got major resistance coming in slightly higher up, but that could still be tested. 9,146 on this daily financial bet, taking us back to the February highs. We are close to that. I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to retest it. And then what you do, you look at what the price action does at that stage. Is it struggling with that resistance or is it just breaking through there? But for me, this chart is bullish. Another question, crude oil. Let's look at crude oil and see what happens there. Now, I find crude oil very interesting. It can be very profitable to trade. But again, that's why I didn't put a trade of the week on there today. Because you can see, yeah, we bounced off support. And yes, we're holding at this support. But it's not really giving me the impetus to sort of show me that it's changing direction, bouncing back. Because at the end of the day, crude oil has been trading sideways since mid-August. You can see that here on the daily chart. But we've held above this key support area here that was made last week, I think the week before, on Friday, the 5th of September. So you can see here at $61.27 on this daily financial bet. We basically held, we bounced off there last week, and we're just trading sideways. But if you look at it from a more medium-term perspective, you can see we still have a series of lower highs and lower lows. So even though we're in a sideways trading range, we are still in a medium-term downtrend from the high seen in June. So therefore, going against it, I'm not so sure. Plus, if you look at the trend lines, you can see that we basically haven't broken through this downtrend line. We failed that last week. So for me, the trend is still your friend. And for me, the odds are greater for another down leg to be seen than for an upward reversal. Now, what would prove my view wrong? Because I'm not trading my views. I'm trading setups where I have a high probability and a low risk. And then I try to make at least 1.5, 1.6 times my risk. So if I'm risking 10 points, I'm trying to make 15 or 16 at the very least, quite often 20 or even more. But if I'm short here, let's say at current levels, where's my stop loss? Well, probably this high here, you can see from the 2nd of September. As long as we stay below there, we can basically remain short, in my opinion. Why? Because basically, if we were to rise above that high here, what's going on? Well, basically, we've broken through the downtrend line. We closed above the previous relative high and the next higher relative high, which is an important one, because from that one, we've come all the way back down again, tested the support area here. So this one's more significant than the small one. But basically, we've gone through two resistance areas, and therefore, trend line break as well. That's likely to indicate it's going to be a short-term trend reversal. Unless that happens, we're still trading sideways with the bearish buyers. What does that mean? Well, if we fall through that low from the 5th of September at $61.27, how far can we fall? Well, what we do is we basically look to the left of our chart and we see where were the previous lows. And you can see here we had a support area made up of the mid-May to late May lows. And this support area here also ties in with these lows going back to mid-April of this year. And they are basically between, let's say, $60.14, $60, a round number. Markets often gravitate towards round numbers, psychological level. And then this low here from the 30th of May, that was made at $59.52. So basically around $60.20, 52, 50 cents. That is a support area which I would expect to be hit if we were to fall through this 5th of September low on the daily chart closing basis. That's the way the chart looks to me at the moment. Now, Empire Metals, lots of questions today. I love this. And also, if you have questions about the charts or anything, do let me know. I mean, we're here to learn, aren't we? And to improve our trading results. So let's look at Empire Metals. Again, a share I don't know much about. And therefore, I go to the monthly chart and we can see we traded in all-time highs, had this huge spike higher here on the monthly chart, on the weekly chart. It's not looking great on the weekly chart. Why is that? Well, basically, you can see here we had 5 consecutive weeks of higher prices with rising volatility. You can see these long candles, and therefore that was really, really bullish. But then it was followed last week by what is called a bearish engulfing pattern. What is a bearish engulfing pattern? If you look at the body of the candles, basically, if it's green, as we all know, the close is above the open. If it's red, the open is below the close. The close is below the open, sorry. So basically here, we closed higher, here we opened here, and then we closed lower. But this open is above that one, that body high, that close, and then we closed below the previous body's open on this candle. That's negative because it's in a bearish engulfing pattern. Quite often it tells you we have topped out here. So even if we bounce short term, personally, I'd be more inclined to get out of my longs than, or even shorted, than to stay long. Because that reversal is quite significant. And if you look at the daily chart, what basically has happened here is we have fallen through an uptrend line. Let me just put it on here without any data going through it. That was just a support line, but can you see here? We fell through that support line after the spike top here, and then we fell through that low and these lows here, and close below these. So we closed below the uptrend line. As you know, I want to see also close below the last relatives lows, these ones here. So that is short-term negative. The real relative low is all the way back here. So you can't take that one. It's just too far away, the late July low. So I would take a closer one here, these support areas here. So right now, basically, we're bouncing off lows seen on Friday. Yes, we might come back a bit, but we have probably a bit of resistance here around this high here from the 28th of August and these lows. And personally, if you're long from, longer term, perhaps it's time to get out. This is not looking so bullish anymore. Maybe it'll turn into something like a sideways trade, or maybe this is actually just the beginning of a much larger decline. But yes, we've seen quite a sharp decline here in Empire Metals. So Euro Stoxx 50, that's the next one. Good. We can also look at an index. It's a good idea. So let's look at the Euro Stoxx 50. Always interesting, less volatile than the DAX, for example. And you can just play the swings here quite nicely because it gives you lots of time to look at these. So as we know, as with other European shares, we hit all-time highs back in April. Or February even here, March, and then we tried to retest them in August, so just last month. You can see that here on the monthly chart. That's the Trump August low, this big hammer formation, but we haven't had really much follow through to the upside. Can you see here, these monthly candles are quite short and we haven't taken out the highs, whereas US markets like the NASDAQ last week still continue to make higher highs and even all-time record highs. So we're struggling in Europe. We had sector rotation out of European stocks back into the Magnificent Seven, back into US tech stocks. So that story has changed basically from where it was sort of at the beginning of this year. But what can we see? We're trading sideways on this weekly chart. We still have an uptrend line here, or support line. And basically in the short term, as long as we stay above the early September lows, we're still looking good. We're just trading sideways. The question is, will we be able to break above the mid-August high, this high here? Because that's what we need to do in order to then have another attempt at tackling the record high here in the Euro Stoxx at 5,400 and I think it was 5,565 or something like that. So we need to take out the mid-August high for us to remain bullish. Now, short term, we basically bounced off this previous support line. We have currently, or we're on track for our second week of consecutive gains. We might be trading sideways. So from a longer term perspective, as long as we stay above the late July low here, which was made around 5,150, we remain in a sideways trading range with a bullish bias. Short term on the daily chart, what we're seeing today is quite healthy. We've bounced back quite significantly here. And we can see here, we need to redraw our trend line. Can you see here we have data going through it? So when that happens, what you want to make sure is that you don't have any data going through it. So you just redraw your support line or trend line, as you can see here, slightly lower. Now you could say you have still an accelerated trend line here on that chart, which is, this one here. So what you do, you take a higher low without any data going through it, and you just connect up the next higher lows without any data going through. So that's holding at the moment. So what is Eurostoxx doing? Well, basically it's broken through, or it's in the process of breaking through, but the day hasn't ended yet. Always wait for the day to finish on the candles if it's a daily chart. But can you see here, we've broken through these previous highs here at the end of July. These highs here going back to 5,431 or so. If we were to close above there today, that would be bullish, because that would mean, well, we have broken through the previous resistance, and we're likely, and you can see that resistance also ties in with these highs here going back to June of this year. So that's an important short-term resistance area. If that goes, we're probably going to retest these previous highs here and the highs seen in August. So that is the scenario at the moment. This scenario is valid provided we stay above this short-term accelerated uptrend line, or more likely above this longer-term uptrend line, and ideally, as I've said, from a longer-term investing point of view, above the 2nd of September low. So it's clearly going up. And even though hedge funds at the moment are at all-time highs with regards to selling into US markets, so that's interesting. They're selling and they think this rally in US equities can't continue. But right now, it does. We're making record highs in US markets. European markets are struggling, but we seem to get some upside momentum here as the Bank of England, Bank of Japan, and the Fed, more importantly this week, have the monetary policy meetings, Bank of Canada, I think, as well. But anyway, today looks bullish on Eurostoxx 50. Also, let's look at another one. One last one, I guess, CoreWeave. That one here. CoreWeave, let's have a look at that. So again, I don't know anything about it, but I've looked at it before. As you can see here, we still have our downtrend line on here. Basically, we've come off the highs seen in June. We bounced off the support seen at the 20th of August, at the beginning of September. That was bullish. We then had a nice up move here. Now we're just consolidating. When you've got these big, long candles going up and then these small candles of different colors sort of just going sideways, it doesn't mean much. It's just consolidating. So for me, since we've broken above that previous high here, we formed the double bottom. Yes, we've nearly hit the target of the double bottom. What's the target? Well, you take the lowest point of that double bottom, this one here from the 5th of September, from the midpoint here of that W formation, and then that distance here, you project higher from this high here. So that's slightly higher than when we went so far last week. So we still have further upside to be seen. If you're long from down here, basically you know where your stop is, it's these lows. If you're short right now, you probably should have a stop above the high seen last week, because if we go through that, it's likely we're going to test the downtrend line and probably will try to rise towards that 12th of August high. So for me, even though from a medium perspective, we're still bearish, as long as we stay above these lows, we are trying to basically get back up again towards these highs. So for me, that's bullish. Short term, if you're a very short term trader, your stop loss below this hammer low here, can you see that we made on Friday, because the market went down and then it hammered out a low and formed this still negative daily close, but we basically hammered out a bottom. And that low, by the way, again happened more or less where the previous high was. So previous resistance, because of inverse polarity, acts as support, and I love when that happens, and that happens very often. So look out for that on your charts. So basically, from a short-term trading perspective, as long as we stay above Friday's low, I'm still quite constructive of this, because normally when the market goes up and then it declines a bit, it tends to try to have a second attempt. So you have the zigzag formation here, and then maybe it goes down again. So for example, can I give you another example of this happening? So you can see here, sort of it goes down a bit and then it goes up and then goes down a bit and then it goes back up again. So you try to have another leg up, like here, up, sideways, down, up. And I wouldn't be surprised if we had something similar, up, sideways, up here. So right now I'm more bullish than bearish on this chart. Yes, it'll be interesting to see what will happen with regards to the central banks this week. Now, obviously, everybody's looking at a 25 basis point Fed rate cut. Some people are looking at a 50 basis point rate cut, because, as we saw last week, the employment data in the US is clearly weakening, and quite substantially, and we still have sticky inflation though, and therefore we have a potential stagflation scenario, which is why as of last week, I believe or the market's basically priced in 5 rate cuts by the end of next year. and 125 to 150 basis points lower by the end of next year. So we'll see whether that's the case or not, but we are not speculating. We're looking what the charts are doing to see what the market's actually doing. Is it going higher? And at the moment, yes, the Nasdaq is making record highs. The S&P 500 is very close to its highs. The Dow as well. Even the Russell is rallying. So for now, the trend is your friend, and that's looking bullish. And on that note, thanks for watching, Technically Speaking, and hope to see you for Charting Crypto on Wednesday at 8:30, I believe.